Anywho, let's go to Texas. We'll say good morning to Judge Stevens.
Clause numbers 23-1745 and 1746. And you are Mr. Nutt.
Yes.
Here with Mr. Wilbon and Mr. Radford, your attorneys. Earlier, the defendant you've entered pleas of guilty already in these cases, correct?
Yes.
In each case.
Yes.
And clause number 23 CR 1745, the defendant was indicted on October 18th of 2023 for the second degree felony of manslaughter by vehicle. And in 23 CR 1746, it is indicted for the second degree felony accident causing death. Each of these, the victim is the same individual, Christian Michael Sykes, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Pre-sentence report has been prepared in these cases. Have the parties had an opportunity to review them?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
This information, is there any changes or corrections that need to be made?
No, Your Honor.
Now, let me get this straight because it's not in the jacket here. The defendant entered a plea on 1745. He didn't enter a plea on 1746?
He entered on both, Judge.
Okay. Where's probation office?
We don't have,
Okay.
this was done by Margaret Carthen, who's usually our liaison, but she did the pre-sentence report.
Okay.
But there's,
Okay.
this is a split sentence, Judge. And on one case, which is cause number 1746, I think 14406. Yeah. We are doing a 3-year prison term. And then on the other case, we're doing a 10 years deferred probation with certain conditions.
And these sentences are to run concurrently?
Yes, sir.
Right, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once again, the pre-sentence report is presented to the court. I've reviewed it and there are no objections by either party.
That's correct, Judge.
No, sir.
And it's made a part of the record for all purposes. All right. Just a summary from each side on this. I think I know where this is headed for what you want, but I just want statements, summary from either party as to how this plan is in the best interest of justice for all concerned. Go ahead.
Judge, this is one that we've both struggled over and talked to each other multiple times on this case to try to find and fashion out a sentence that would reflect the seriousness of this, but also allow this young man to have a chance in his life. I've spoken with the family. We've had meetings on it and talked to them about this offer. Let them think about it over the weekend before we actually formally made the offer. They came back and said that this was acceptable to the family, the victim. This is kind of a strange circumstance because everybody in this community kind of knows everybody in this community, and they know this young man and know his family. And so
This community of
Hampshire, I'm sorry, Judge, it's just going through my brain for a minute. But this is something that we fashioned after looking at the circumstances and looking at this young man's past history and talking to the family. And again, what they're agreeable with this. And It's not the best of all the worlds that they would like to have, but it is something that they think would reflect the seriousness of this. And at the end of this, they also, just to let the court know, they want to make an allocution at the end of the sentence.
Go ahead, defense.
You know, we concur with what Mr. Laird said. I would add additionally that this conduct, best I can determine, is completely out of character. No prior history of anything. What we did also, Judge, in light of the law change, at this incident happened, there's agreed to pay child support also, and waiving it goes back to after.
Tell me a little bit about the deceased, Christian Sykes, date of birth 77. So,
Yes, sir.
So he was in his 40s.
Yes, sir.
Who else was in the vehicle other than Mr. Sykes in that vehicle?
His son was in that vehicle.
Was how old?
I think 4. I think he was 4 years old.
Injuries for that child?
No, Your Honor, minor stuff that didn't require any major treatment. Otherwise, there would have been more charges filed.
Anything you would like to add, Mr. Dunn? This court is inclined to follow this agreement. Anything you want to say? Like you regret what happened here? And it seems to be inferred in here, but your version is one sentence long. It's just not a lot of.
Judge, I don't know. He just said he wanted to say something to the family, but he's not going to get to it on the allocution because he won't be allowed to speak. So I don't know if his lawyer's learning anything now.
Right now. But to me, the family, sometimes victims, relatives, the survivors are put in a bad spot here, much less, and so are you, everybody involved here. And it's just, this is happening too often. This court's been doing this long enough. And in the last couple of years, this is the third situation I can recall now in just 2 years where people were left to die when people who were involved in an accident flee. And there's just a missing element of just human compassion. The law is a humanitarian type of law. You are required when you're involved in an accident to help, not leave, help folks who may be injured in the event. Here, you didn't. You're not the first, but I know what juries do, and they're pretty severe in holding defendants responsible in a situation like this. According to your version here, that's in the pre-sentence report, you had consumed too much alcohol, and as a result, you got scared and left the scene of the accident, and then one person died, and another, there was a child, could have died. And those are difficult situations for everybody involved, but this court always has a hard time figuring out why you just humanitarian compassion element that nature put us in. You have to compete with fear and not wanting to be around and to leave, which doesn't change anything except increases a burden that everyone is going to have to deal with. And then the question becomes, could a life have been saved by administering first aid until safety authorities, emergency authorities were able to reach the scene. And a death of a human is not reversible. And anything you want to add?
Think about it every day, keeping the safe. Sorry to the family. Wish I could undo this and make it right somehow. You know, I can't, and I want to help however I can, carrying on, however that looks like. I'll be right.
But they want their life back. That family wants that life back. You can't do that. Okay. That's the downside on all of this. And that's why, especially during this season where most accidents occur during holiday season, everybody needs to be reminded that this can happen at any time, and that they're responsible. When we are on the road, we are responsible not only for ourselves, our actions, but everybody else. We have a pact, an agreement that we will be responsible in our maintenance of a vehicle and operation of it in a sober and lawful manner. Vehicle is nothing more than a 4,000-pound missile. It does terrible tissue damage to humans when struck and takes lives. So there needs to be always a reminder of life, or the taking of a life in motor vehicles when we're driving is just a clock tick away from that. So we have to operate responsibly. All right. Anything else? I'm going to follow these agreements and find. Mr. Dunham, you have pleaded guilty in each of these cases. And again, in 23 CR 1745, the second degree felony of manslaughter, which carries with it up to 20 years in prison. And in 23 CR 1746, the second degree felony as well of accident involving death. Essentially, the two parts of these charges. One is by causing the death in a reckless manner of an individual by operating your vehicle on a public road in excess of 100 miles an hour and striking the vehicle, which caused it to flip and causing the driver to be ejected and died. And in the second case, accident involving death, when there is an accident, parties involved in accidents have a responsibility under Texas law to not leave the scene of an accident before giving name, address, registration, and rendering reasonable assistance to other parties when it's apparent they are in need of medical treatment. So those are the parts here: reckless misuse of your vehicle and driving irresponsibly, and then fleeing the scene after you had a duty to stay and render aid. In each of these cases, you have pleaded guilty voluntarily. These are second-degree felonies, which carry with it up to 20 years in prison. You were mentally competent to enter these pleas of guilt. There is sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea in each case from State's Exhibit 1 that was admitted at the plea hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In 23 CR 1745, the manslaughter, even though there is sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, the court is deferring any finding of guilt in this case, correct? And placing you on deferred or unadjudicated probation for 10 years. There will be terms and conditions of probation which are normal and customary for this type of offense. The probation officer will go over these with you. You will sign these and be responsible for following the requirements, which also include participation in a 12-step program or tantamount program directed for dealing with intoxication, driving while intoxicating, operating motor vehicles irresponsibly, and there would be an analysis by the probation office as to exactly what type of program that will be required under these circumstances that the court will review and approve. You will complete a moral reclamation therapy program, which is a program that many probationers are required to complete. And essentially, it is a program which helps people make the correct decisions during the times of stress. And yes, we can all use something like that, but you are required to complete that as a condition. There will be other conditions of probation.
Just part of the agreement was the Jefferson County Drug Intervention Program when he gets out.
Well, I hadn't gotten to that one.
That's right.
You're going to, on this other case, you're going to be sentenced to imprisonment for a term. When that is completed, then there is what we call JCDI, the Jefferson County Drug Intervention Program, which you must complete. If you fail to complete any of these terms and conditions of probation in this deferred probation order, your probation could be revoked. You could then be found guilty and sentenced to no less than 2, no more than 20 years confinement in prison. Do you understand?
And since this is outside the child support statute that they have enacted now, we're going to ask that it be placed in the probation order that he pay child support based upon the child support calculations as directed by the family code.
Anything from the defense on that?
That's exactly right, John.
And we,
Okay, is this going to be under Part 27 restitution, or is restitution under 27 to the victim's family to compensate for property damage, monetary loss, or medical expenses sustained as a direct result? Is that separate?
that's separate.
That's separate.
Yes, sir.
Where is the?
I don't know if there is one on there, Judge.
I'll examine
If
it.
there's a blank, we can add a blank to it at the bottom and just write in percent to the family
Okay,
code.
what is it the state is asking for in the wording?
That the defendant, upon completion of prison sentence, pay child support
In an amount of
in an
what?
amount direct as established by the Texas Family Code. Per one.
Pursuant to the child support guidelines.
But there's a guideline set in the family code, and it's we just can't determine because he's going to lose his job when he goes to prison. When he comes out, we've got to figure out what that is. And it's going to be, I think it's 20% after certain expenses that's listed in the family code for one child. And that's what he'll be paying of his net. So we can't put what that is yet. is what it is.
In an amount, um, determined by what?
The child support guidelines of the Texas Family Code.
Right. Condition 31 of this probation order. Defendant shall pay child support to the victim's family in an amount to be determined by the child support guidelines of the Texas Family Code. What else do you want me to add on this provision?
All of that is fine. I think leaving it generic probably is the best way to do it. It's all fine and good.
Do you understand the requirements that you're going to have, sir, as far as this set of orders in this case involving your deferred or unadjudicated probation for 10 years for this manslaughter charge?
Yes, sir.
The probation officer will review these with you and you can sign them and be held accountable. Understand? Please. Right now. Leave it alone. Say. Paper clip. Try to write as many paper stuff.
I can correct that for you, Judge. Get that, see?
Are you in here? Let me go look in the back.
I can correct it. I can correct it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make that correction for you, Judge.
Paper. It's small, but paper clip always. Now, anything else on 1745? If nothing, on 23 CR 1746, in that case, Mr. Dunham, you had pleaded guilty voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 committed. In that case, to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In that second degree company of the offense called accident involving death, I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institution of division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 3 years. And this sentence will run concurrently with the previous deferred or unadjudicated probation sentence in the 1745 matter. Do you understand what has happened here today, sir?
Yes, sir.
Anything else to add for the record for these cases?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. There's something else?
There's some allocutions, Jeff.
If I can, some more folks want to speak.
Say again.
Reading the pudding.
We're fine here.
Come on, podium. Got something? Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll tell me already. Just right over the podium.
All right. And would you please identify yourselves? I see there are three of you.
Yes. Mine's Terrence Sykes. Christian's sister.
You were the deceased sister, Miss Sykes, and
I'm speaking on.
the two ladies behind you,
I'm Amy Salino. I'm Christian's wife.
the spouse of the deceased,
Hannah Salino, his stepdaughter.
and the daughter. Oh, go ahead.
I have spent months trying to write out what I would want to say. I've been completely unable to put it all into words. I thought and I could write volumes of stories and memories and tell you all of the amazing things about Christian and who he was. He was an amazing son, brother, uncle, father, husband. I tell you one of the things that I've thought about, and it's just telling you the week we had planned. It was actually an incredibly special week in our family. My daughter Grace was moving into her dorm at A&M on the Friday after he was killed. That Thursday was my 44th birthday. And Christian and I and my mom and Grace all had plans to drive up to College Station the night before and then move Grace into her dorm room on Friday. Spend the day getting her ready. And instead, we spent the week planning a funeral. And because you still have to move into a dorm room, I drove up. Me and my best friend and her daughter drove Grace's things and dropped them in her dorm room and turned around and came home to have a funeral. The next day to get up for me and Grace to drive back to College Station to actually put her dorm room together. And I had to leave her that day, the day after his funeral, so she could start class at A&M the next morning. If you know anything about Grace, that was a dream that she had had. You went to school with her. Your friend's younger brother dated her through high school. It was a dream that she had most of her life, and she worked and worked and worked to get that. And she was so excited. In that first year of her time at A&M, it was so hard. Because she had on her, and Christian was everything to her. Her father wasn't there for her, but Christian was. Christian was the uncle that would send me a text saying, I rescued Grace from daycare, we're going fishing. He was the uncle that brought her a kayak for her 5th birthday to teach her to kayak in the back pond so she could go fishing with him. He was the uncle that did everything. He was the brother that was there for me for everything. And he didn't do things for me. He taught me how to do them. And he did things with me. And he was a son that showed up anytime his mother or father needed. We lost our sister when we were younger to cancer. And Christian was by her side. He was the person who gave to everyone As Judge Stevens was talking about how people need to help other people, that was the definition of who Christian was. Christian helped everyone. He was the guy that would pull over to change your tire. He was the guy that gave so much blood that after he died and I went in to start giving, they came to talk to me because they knew who I was, because Christian spent so much time giving blood that they even knew my nephew's name and asked how he was doing, because he spent so much time giving and doing for other people. I could go on and on. But I can't be angry. I can't carry any more anger. I can't. I know that as part of your agreement, it was asked that you not contact the family. And I know that was a wish that Amy and Hannah have had. But I invite you to talk to me. You should learn about who Christian was, because I think what you lacked in character the night of the accident, you could learn from learning about who Christian was. And I know your mother, and she's a good lady, so I know that she raised you to be better than you were that night. I know that's there. I know you have that foundation. And I invite you to reach out to me and ask questions. Learn about him. Our lives will be connected for the rest of our lives because you got behind the wheel that night. Please take the time to learn about what you took and who he was so that you can grow and take the rest of your life to be more like him. Please. Thank you.
I've written my speech on my phone. I've seen videos on social media of people writing letters like this and forth, but I never imagined that I would be writing one myself, and especially not at 19 years old, and especially not for someone that I love so deeply. Christian Michael Sykes, or Crick as we called him, was my stepfather, but he was more than that. He was the most generous, trusting, and loving person I've ever known. Crick has such an impact on my life that I now find myself looking for parts of him in every new friendship I form, just to make sure that I'm surrounding myself with people like him. When I was 16, I was getting ready for bed at my dad's house in Austin when I got a call from my grandfather. He was so flustered that I couldn't understand what he was trying to say at first. He asked to speak to my dad, and when I finally was told, I sat on my bed repeating the words in my head. There was an accident, Judah's in the hospital, and I'm going to drive you back right now. 20 minutes later, I was in the car, and by then I already knew what Crick's name had to come with. At midnight, we pulled out of the gas station, and I cried in the passenger seat knowing I had just been told that Crick had been killed. For 4 hours, I sat in that car on the way to a house that could never feel like a home again. When I arrived, I walked into my mom and Crick's bedroom and saw my 5-year-old brother lying on Crick's side of the bed in a hospital gown. His hair was a tangled mess, his arms were scratched and bruised from his shoulders to his fingertips, and his face was flushed. And all I could do was lay next to him and hold him, thanking God that he was still with us, but at the same time asking why Crick wasn't. The day after the accident, I learned that someone I had never heard of left my family at the scene of an accident he caused so he wouldn't get caught. 4 days after, I turned 17 and opened birthday gifts from Crick without him. Weeks after, the world kept moving while I remained stuck on August 12th. Months after, I was hospitalized for my mental state. That December, we had a birthday party for someone who was no longer alive to celebrate it. A little over half a year after, I graduated high school without him. And a year passed and nothing had changed. Now, 2 years later, I can finally stand here and say everything I've been carrying with me since the day he died. Because the truth is, this loss isn't over. A few years from now, I'll graduate college without him. One day I'll get married without him. I'll raise his grandchildren without him. I'll watch my mother grow up without him, and I'll watch Jude grow up without him. And all of that is because of you. You, someone whose name is now carved into my memory, someone who went to my school, someone who knew my classmates, and someone who had enough mutual friends with me on Snapchat to send me a friend request. But you are also the same someone who took my stepfather from my life. And that is how I'll remember you for the rest of mine. And I want you to remember every single word that was said to you today for the rest of yours, because you did this.
I took this picture. I took this picture about 2 weeks before the accident, and I want to show the people that can't be here that were most affected by this. Thought about what I wanted to say if I ever had this opportunity for over 2 years. And so many words have gone through my head. And now that I have the opportunity and tried to write it all out, I had no idea where to start. Or if there's anything that I could even say to express how devastating this experience has been to me, to my children, to all of Christian's family, and to all the people who loved him. And there were a lot of people who loved him. There are no words, although Hannah did a pretty good job, to explain the shock of being told that your husband's no longer alive. What it's like to try to process how that is possible, what it means, what you do next. It was a full 24 hours. Numerous phone calls and face-to-face meetings with various law enforcement personnel before I actually understood that my husband didn't die in an accident. My husband was killed because of somebody's choices. The reality of my life every single night for the last 2.5 years is to picture my husband lying on the side of the road and to hear my baby crying for his daddy. And to ache because I wasn't there. That's what's in my head. At night when I try to sleep, in the day when I try to teach my students, when I go home and try to hug my children, that's what's in my head now. So here's what I know. I know that Christian Sykes is a good man, made mistakes, and he has faults. But like Hannah said, he was a helper. He was the guy that everyone called, everyone. He was the guy that knew how to fix everything. And if he didn't, he would figure it out. He cared about the world. He cared about human beings. He cared about animals. He cared about the future. He wanted to make the world a better place. And I don't think he ever realized how much he did. He was a man who fixed people's cars and held open doors. But more than that, he was generous with his time, his knowledge, his possessions. And even more importantly, he treated people with respect. It was something that I always noticed about him long before we were a couple. He acknowledged the people that society ignores. He saw them and he set that example to others. And at his funeral, the custodian from my school came and I thanked him and told him he didn't have to be there. And all he said was, he always shook my hand. And that explains so much to me. Christian loved his niece immensely and unconditionally. He brought his stepdaughter into his life wholeheartedly and loved her completely. He had godchildren who he cared about so deeply. But becoming a father brought out a tenderness and a devotion that I can't describe. The love he and Jude had for each other was so deep, so pure, and so beautiful. They were truly each other's best friends. When Christian was taken out of all of these kids' lives, that loss was so huge. It affected them so much more deeply than I have the right or the words to express. You have no idea how much damage that caused. I wanted to talk about Christian as a husband. I wanted you to know all that was taken from me in that way, but I can't. It is too personal and too special, and I will not dirty it by talking about it here. But what I can say is that from the time that Christian and I started dating until the day he died, I felt more seen, more loved, and more understood than at any other time in my life, and I cannot imagine that I will ever find that again. There's so much more. I considered telling you as many specific stories about Christian as I could. I thought about giving a list of the facts of his life. I thought about trying to list as many people he loved and who loved him as I could. But none of that seems to matter. But what I do need to say now is that I had to explain to a 7-year-old this past Friday what was going on. I had to tell him why his mother and his sister had been so emotional. I had to try to explain a court system that I don't understand and what was happening today. And I asked him if there was anything that he wanted to say. He said he just wanted to know why we can't all be a happy family, all 4 of us together again. I'm not sure if I will ever forgive you. I'm not sure if you deserve it, but I will try. It's not for you. It's because I only have so much energy to give. And I want all of it to go to something good. I want it to go to loving my babies, my husband, my family, my friends, my students. I'm not going to waste any of that energy on anything negative. That said, I truly hope that you have learned something, that you do better, that you find a way to do something really good in this world. Too much good has been taken out of it by your choices. And I truly hope that one day you have an opportunity to give some of it back. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Jeff. Anything else? Sure. Thank you. Oh. Obviously underscores the tragedy that we deal with, the tragedies that we deal with here in this courtroom often, especially the difficulties we have to deal with when someone is operating a motor vehicle irresponsibly. And lives, when they're lost, it's obvious that their lives touch so many other people, loved ones, friends, and others. So what can we say, since we can't bring a life that is lost back, is to drive responsibly because lives depend upon it. All right. Anything else to add in this case by any of the parties? All right. Then, Mr. Dunham, you're taken into custody to begin the service of your sentence. We are in recess on this case.
We can get this thing resolved. So alleged that at that time, August 4th of 2022, you stole money from, or you stole something from the Walmart store in Three Rivers. And then you went off the grid. They issued the warrant and they didn't actually serve the warrant until August of 25. You got arrested. I'm not sure what happened. No, they didn't serve the warrant until December of 25. Then you posted bond. It looks like you spent 1 day in jail. You posted $210 of bond. The normal fine for this is $200. And you'd be barred from Walmart. Let's take a look at this. I looked at it early this morning. Do you live in Albion now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep, got custody of my children, got a place there.
We have long memories around here, at least I do. I'm not sure what's gonna happen when I leave. Nobody will remember anything, but we often get old warrants that get served. How'd you get picked up on this?
I don't even remember anything about.
No,
Walmart.
but when you got arrested in December,
Oh, in December?
Keith, would you give him a Kleenex,
Recently?
ask him to take his gum out?
My apologies.
Well, couple,
Well, I was dropping off my children that night,
and where did you get arrested?
Three Rivers.
Are your kids live in Three Rivers?
Yes, sir.
And so on the December 18th, they ran your plate or something and found an old warrant?
Yeah, I had a license plate light hanging.
All right, well, you used to live with a guy that worked in the automotive department, John Gingrich.
Yes, sir.
And Gingrich said he saw you steal a fishing rod. You used a barcode for a cheaper fishing rod instead of barcode for the fishing rod that you had on it. So they watched the video and compared your photo ID, and they issued this warrant for your arrest 4 years ago. If you plead guilty to this charge, I'm going to give you 1 day in jail credit, 1 day. I'm going to use your bond to pay the fine and the restitution, and you can get on about your business. If you don't remember it, you can plead no contest, or if you wish, you can plead not guilty if you deny it or don't believe that you're responsible for it.
Right. I just like to, I'm
what's
sorry. I'd like to get off taking care of the day
All right.
and get on.
Do you remember the incident?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you switch barcodes on a fishing rod?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, you must have not been in trouble in the last 4 years because they didn't
No.
pick you up till this actually happened.
Been straightening up. Got a job, got custody of my
All
kids.
right.
got
I'm
my license
also
back.
gonna put you on a plan on your unpaid tickets around here. You got driving without a license and some other zoning stuff. But in this case, Anybody threaten you to get you to the plea
No,
to
Your
this?
Honor.
Or what I told you about what I'm gonna do for a sentence? Other than that, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No, Your Honor.
All right, plead guilty. We end up, I complain about this, being Walmart's enforcer for $25. Be easier if we just wrote them a check. We probably spent $500 in resources to deal with this, but nonetheless, I'll show you plead guilty. I'm gonna make this come out to $210. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, 25 restitution to Walmart. That's $150. And a $60 fine that comes out to $210. 1 day jail credit, 1 day, and you're barred from Walmart for 1 year. So you owe $0. All right, that resolves this case. I'm gonna have the court officer take you out to the court and talk about your unpaid stuff and set up a payment plan
Yes,
to
sir.
get all these old things taken care of. Like I said, this warrant issued in 2022 and you didn't get arrested at 2025, which means you haven't been in any trouble in the last 3 years. But I want you to pay these old tickets. And
I got a little bit of money I can put towards one day too.
all right, very good. You're good to go. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Courtroom Files Live. It is Tuesday. Michael Groff filling in for Dan Soul. Thank you, by the way, Wahoo. Boy, oh boy. All right, Mike, you need another cup of coffee. Thank you, Wahoo, for the $2 super chat. And I say Yahoo to that. All right, back to more Judge Middleton.
Is Kenneth Black here? Patrick Jones? Alicia Slater? Which case?
Your Honor, did Mr. Moss, does his attorney actually filed an appearance?
He has.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll cross him off my list.
He's from Canton Township, or the defendants. He's from Detroit. He's from Lathrop Village, which is a little 1 square mile thing on 12 Mile.
5 blocks from where I grew up.
Rough neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
Is not an upscale northern suburb of Detroit.
Your Honor, I do have a walk-in who's presenting himself today under 762.10D. Mr. Pablo Pena, Pena.
All right, Laura, somebody, Shayna, Jenny, could I have whatever we've got on Pablo Pena? Well, let's talk about the people that didn't show up. Kenneth T. Black of Kalamazoo previously failed to appear on December 23rd. He's charged with no insurance. He has 2 previous no proof of insurances, one in Kalamazoo and one here, and he didn't pay the fine here. So we're going to issue a bench warrant for him. He does appear to have a valid license. I don't have a phone number. I'd wake him up. I'm going to issue a bench warrant. It is $500 cash or surety. 48-hour hold. If anybody knows Kevin T. Black of Warbler Drive, Kalamazoo, needs to get in here. Mr. Upshaw is joining us. Mr. Moss, would you come up to the podium, please? Good morning, sir. Are you Stephanie? Good morning, Mr. Upshaw. Welcome to Centerville.
And good morning to you, and thank you for allowing me to participate on Zoom, Your Honor.
Well, this is just a simple arraignment. We should be able to transact this by Zoom. Are you Justin Trayvon Moss?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moss, you're charged with assault with intent to commit great bodily harm by strangulation and domestic violence. Allegation is that that happened in Three Rivers. On November 10th. The complaining witness is your previous girlfriend, Stephanie Clemens. The first charge, assault, great bodily harm, less than murder with strangulation, is a felony. It's punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $5,000. Second count, domestic violence, is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Bond was set in the amount of $5,000 cash or surety, and you have posted the bond. They directed that you participate with community corrections. Yes. Are you presently wearing an ankle monitor?
No, sir.
Are you on some sort of other monitoring system?
I call once a week and check in.
All right. Well, because this is a felony, I don't have jurisdiction to take your plea here. We have to set it for what's called a pre-exam conference. And we're going to coordinate with your attorney, Mr. Upshaw, to see that that date works.
Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Moss, Randall Upshaw, P number 43574.
Give me that P number again.
43574.
And you're directing your client at this time, obviously, to enter a plea of not guilty.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Upshaw, we do our pre-exams on Tuesday mornings, and we do the preliminary examinations on Tuesday afternoon. So the regularly scheduled date for this case would be a pre-exam next Tuesday, January 13th, with a preliminary examination at 1 o'clock on January 20th, if it's needed.
If I may, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I've spoke with my client because I have absolutely no discovery and in the dark on this matter. My client is willing to waive his right to have a PC or the preliminary exam within 21 days. I also would like to inform the court that I had a pre-scheduled, because I didn't celebrate the holidays, my wife and I have a pre-scheduled flight out of the country from the 15th through the 20th. I'm asking this honorable court if it would consider allowing my client to waive the 21-day rule, and so I can also get discovery and set this beyond the 21 days for another PC.
All right, well, that's problematic. I don't have prosecutor input here. The victim advocate is here and the complainant is here. This often happens. In fact, it happens every time when out of area counsel come in. They've often got conflicts with their other practice. And certainly vacations are hard to come by. The defendant has posted bond. As far as I can tell, he's complied with all terms of his bond. Have there been any allegations of bond violations? All right.
Not to my knowledge, Your Honor.
I'm gonna set pre-exam for January 27th. I really don't like this, but at 8:30, and the prelim, if necessary, for February 3rd. You did file an appearance, certainly, and I'm not sure what's up with the discovery, but we just did the arraignment. You should make contact with the prosecutor's office and get the information. I'm not sure exactly what all there is. Good morning, Mr. Knopfinger.
Morning, Judge.
Have you got something for me this morning?
No, not yet. Tim George.
Do we know what we're gonna do with Mr. Dusha Tellier this afternoon?
We should know by mid-morning, Judge. I've already spoken to Mr. Rivera about it.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Moss, let's talk about your bond conditions. Do you live in Canton Township?
Yes, sir.
What do you do there? What's your occupation?
I play professional basketball. I travel around the globe, playing for different countries.
All right, and so this is what league are you in?
Basketball. Right now, I have a contract coming up for the Sipa Copa League, which is in Mexico.
Well, you're gonna need to stay here. You can't leave the country. You can't even leave the state yet.
Mhm.
You don't have the court's permission to leave Michigan. You certainly can't leave the country. So delaying this is difficult for you as well.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
If I'm attempting to, I sent some documents about his contract, and I'm attempting to talk with the APA at this time to see what resolutions he and I can make. Can you tell me your court, would you happen to know the APA that will be handling this?
I don't know. The person who authorized it, let's take a look, was probably, we're not that big. We only have 5 prosecutors. Maya would direct you to ask for prosecuting attorney Deborah Davis. The warrant was actually authorized by can't tell. Angelique Camfield. So she's the person that knows about it. She's very capable. She's a longtime career prosecutor from other jurisdictions as well. Angelique Camfield.
And I would just like, I apologize again.
That's the downside of not being here live and in person. You could just walk down the hall and talk to them. But as I said, this is just an arraignment. And so I'm not going to do anything without input from the prosecutor. So right now he can't even go to Howe, Indiana. He's not allowed to leave the state of Michigan. And where'd you play your undergrad? Miami?
No, I went to Buffalo, New York.
All right. Why are you wearing a Miami shirt?
Oh, well, right now they're on the winning streak. They just beat Ohio State.
Nebraska beat Ohio State last night in basketball. They beat the Spartans and they shouldn't have, but Spartans beat USC by 30 points last night. All right. Good morning, Mr. Thal.
Morning, Your
Good
Honor.
morning, Mr. Sopanos.
Morning, Your Honor.
All right. So let's review. I keep getting disoriented, so let me stick to the point here. There are bond conditions. Let me find it. As far as I can tell, you've been in compliance with the terms of your bond. Do not have any contact with Stephanie Clemens. Clemens is a three-over's name. I think I knew her grandparents. Did your grandparents live on Michigan Avenue? Yes. Nice people. They're Jehovah's Witnesses and landlords. All right, no contact with Stephanie Clemens. Comply with all directives of the Community Corrections Board. Shall not leave the state of Michigan. No firearms, no assaultive or threatening behavior. Now, the bond could be amended if your lawyer and the prosecutor talk with each other and agree to some conditions. When would your contract start with the Mexican League?
I was hoping for, well, they're hoping for me to be there by January 15th.
Well, it ain't gonna happen unless something else happens.
Yeah, I've updated them on the situation.
For now, your next court date is January 27th at 8:30. I want you to comply with the conditions of your bond. Mr. Upshaw, my recommendation would be you contact the prosecutor's office and ask to speak to Angelique Camfield. She's the person that authorized this. She has charging authority and plea authority. Let's assume that the matter is resolved with some sort of a negotiated plea, even to a domestic assault. As you know, there's a deferral statute that could apply to this, but I don't know enough about it. Reading the affidavit, this is bad. It's scary and dangerous. And so I don't know where this case is headed. Mr. Moss, I'm going to have the bailiff take you out to the court office, and they're going to give you a notice for your next court date, which is January 27th at 8:30. And if needed, the next date after that would be February the 3rd. If there's some change in this, we'll discuss it, but this isn't a traffic ticket. This is a serious 10-year assault with intent to commit great bodily harm felony charge. So it isn't going to go away with a swipe of a hand. This is some serious stuff. So you go out to the counter, stay in contact with your lawyer, Mr. Upshaw. He'll get the police report. I don't know if there's 911 tapes or photographs or videos or whatever evidence that is. He'll get a copy of it. Stay in contact with the conditions that you've got from community corrections. All right, you're good to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor, and have a good day.
It looks like, first of all, she was charged with 3 different counts. She had OWI occupant, second, less than 16, which, as you know, is a 5-year fine. She also had 2 other counts, which were consisting of, let me just give me a second here, which consisted of a charge of OWI second, that was set forth in count 2. which was also, it was actually a high BAC, OWI high BAC set forth in count 2. And then she also had a charge of operating while impaired second. As far as I can tell from my notes and everything here, she pled to OWI occupant less than 16 a 1 year. The felony count relating to the OWI occupant as well as the super drunk. And Heather, I want to make sure that everything is reflected accurately. I did not make very good notes on the register.
Beth did come down this morning and speak with Lisa about it. So I believe everything should be correct in the system now.
Right. So I also had, but I want to be clear about this. So count 1, there was a plea to the lesser included of OWI occupant less than 16 a 1 year. Count 2 was super drunk second with the prior, which is also a felony that they went ahead and dismissed. And then count 3 was operating while impaired second, which they also dismissed, but a count was added of child abuse in the 4th degree. So I'm going to sentence, which is also a 1 year. So I'm going to sentence on the OWI occupant less than 16 and child abuse 4. I'm going to put it on our sobriety court register. As to OWI occupant less than 16, the terms are going to end up running concurrent. As to that charge and the child abuse 4th, and then all other charges will be dismissed. That being said, have you had a chance to review the report? Do you agree with all of that?
That's correct, Your Honor. Double checking. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they did this on a little bit different form because it was sobriety court, and that's it. That's all I'll say about it. For the record, a victim's rights notice was sent to Mr. Hughes. I believe it's Mr. Hughes. Just give me a second. Yeah, Josiah Davis, care of Forrest Hughes. Is that individual here? That individual is not here. You can go ahead and proceed. Have you had a chance to review the report, and are there any material additions, corrections, or deletions?
We have reviewed the report. The stand has also reviewed the report. No objections or corrections.
All right. Anything you would like to say?
Very briefly, Your Honor, I sent, and I apologize, I just gave it to the court today, sort of a bullet point letter. And if the court doesn't have it, I have a copy I could give you right now.
I don't believe I've received that.
I will hand it to the court and I will summarize it very quickly.
Okay, you can hand it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because although the pre-sentence report's accurate, Your Honor, the question is, why does this keep happening to Ms. Dan? And I think that's what I kind of lay out very quickly in my letter. She was, I don't want to get into too many details of the report, but she was the victim of some abuse multiple times as a child. And her substance abuse stems not from her desire to party or have fun, but to deal with this trauma. Which will segue into, she's aware of that. She was taking some medication to curb her ability to drink. Then she got pregnant and had to go off it.
The Vivitrol.
Correct, Your Honor. She has, since her arrest on this, been working on her addiction, but I think more importantly, the underlying issues, going to mental health counseling, going to meetings, going to family counseling, going to individual counseling. Talking to her today, she says, every day she has some sort of meeting, some sort of therapy to go to. Recovery for her has been a full-time employment, really. One thing she wanted to do today, but she said she just couldn't do it, is read some letters to her children that she wrote. Those letters were both an apology for her actions, but also an explanation. And I think more than anything, what those did was help her understand the effects that her actions have on her children and how much they impact them. I've received calls and texts and support from her current boyfriend, who she has one child with, or expecting her second one. He's committed to her sobriety and sober living. a very good friend who's been helpful in supporting her, giving her rides, making sure she gets where she needs to go. I think all these things show that she's really committed to her recovery. She appreciates, she's, I think, one of the few drug driving clients I've had that doesn't complain about the tether, the alcohol tether. What she says is, thank God I have this on because I can't use the Vivitrol. It's really helping me stay sober. The court has the option of sentencing her to some jail time on the child abuse fourth. I think given the progress she's made in her recovery, I think that would be counterproductive. We're asking for a non-custodial sentence on that. If she doesn't continue to make these great efforts, the court can at that time, I think, impose a jail sentence. But I think as long as she's working so hard, I think the important thing is to let her continue that.
Anything that you would like to say?
I'm pretty sure that this saved me and my baby's life. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. I'm really happy that I got caught that day. I'm 85 days sober. I go to a meeting every day. I do everything that I'm supposed to do. And I want to help other women like me once I start getting through this program.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last sentence.
I just want to help other women like me once I start getting through this program.
Well, I'm troubled. I'm going to tell you my negative comments first. One of the things, I've been sitting here quite a while now, and one of the things that I always think of is how do I say this delicately? It's an impossibility for our society to improve if we don't have parents that care them. Can't do it. Impossible. And I'm not saying every parent, I'm not saying majority of parents, but certainly there's a sufficient amount of parents out there that don't get it. They don't understand. They just don't understand. You can't have parents that don't care about their kids. Because when they don't care about their kids, kids are smarter than we give them credit for, even when they're 2 or 3 and they don't even know that they're thinking. And they know when they're loved and they know when they're not loved. And they know when people care and when people don't care. Now, I'm looking at this from and I told you I'm going to tell you the negatives part first. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you have a young child in your car, and that child at the time, now you've got 5 kids and you're looking for a 6th, right? Right?
Yes.
And the child that was in the car was how old?
It was 2.
Okay. And you were pregnant when you were doing this, right? On its face, the child has no chance. On its face. No chance. I feel so poorly or badly about the fact that so many kids come into this world and they have no chance because they have parents that are not doing the right things. And I didn't say it's an easy job. I'm not sure any of us are equipped to do it, but it's certainly not an easy job. But we have to try. And we can't have kids when we're doing cocaine and hallucinogens and amphetamines and sedatives and inhalants, and now we're smoking marijuana and we're drinking. All of that, you don't need a legal scholar to tell you that. You don't need a substance abuse counselor to tell you that. You don't need a psychiatrist or psychologist to tell you that. You just need somebody with common sense to tell you. Just a little. They don't have to be overwhelmingly intelligent. Now, that's the bad news, because I'm just really floored by some of the things I read in. I really am. We just can't do this. We cannot do this. The good news is, I believe that you're sincere about this. But don't go out of here. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying you're going to be one of them. But I just have sensed, and I can almost see it when they leave the podium. There's either one boy, I got lucky and I'm going to stick with it, or judge didn't send me to jail. I'm okay. Now I can let my guard down. There can't be any letting of your guard down. If I want you to understand that if you don't comply and make it through sobriety court, you will do a year.
I understand that.
I hope you do, because there will be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There won't even be a consideration.
I understand.
Now, so far, you've at least weaned yourself off the marijuana. But I'm telling you, nobody can argue with me that alcohol and drugs being consumed by a pregnant woman is anything but horrifically bad for the child. And I don't know how to put it to you this way, but other than saying, I mean, kids are bigger than we are, right? I mean, we should be doing everything we can to make them successful, to make them have values, have integrity, work hard, making them understand the world doesn't owe them a living. I'm going to cut you a break, but I do not want you to walk back from this podium, because there's going to be a lot of requirements here. And I want you to understand, you violate, and you're going to get every single day I can give you.
I understand.
Do we understand that?
I do.
Now, the prosecutor's office, they come out with these things, and they wanted me to send you to jail in so many ways. I'm going to read it to you just to remind you what they said. Sentence agreement of 60 to 90 days is determined by the judge with work release if eligible. May be waived, jail condition may be waived at the discretion of the court if the defendant completes a specialty court program. Court can impose jail at its discretion for child abuse 4. The OWI 3 charges will be dismissed at sentencing. Really, it was an enhanced from super drunk, second, which makes it a felony, child occupant less than 16 with a prior, which makes it a felony. So there was no OWI 3, but they were enhanced and they were felonies. 2 years probation sentence agreement with sobriety, drug, veterans, or mental health court that the defendant will need to find placement on or before sentencing. No early termination. 33rd District program is acceptable. We think it's more than that. Full restitution, parenting responsibility should be included. Defendant fails out of the sobriety court or special court due to poor performance, commits another crime while on probation. The judge finds sufficient cause to terminate the balance of the year. 1 year must be served in jail. No work release or waiver. The above are recommendations only is what I made them add. The court need not order 1 year in jail if the defendant does not successfully complete program. And I've gone round and round with them about that because they're not the judge. And they have the right to do what they want to do and enter in sentence agreements, but I don't have to go along with sentence agreements. I thought that was overly harsh, especially for somebody that might struggle and get to the end and violate. I'm not giving them a year, but I want there to be no misunderstanding. And I know I'm talking a lot because I'm troubled by this one. I want there to be no misunderstanding. You fall down on this, you're doing a year. Your lawyer has done a tremendous job for you. Did I let everybody finish? I'm ready to sentence if I did.
Yes, thank you.
Anything else?
No, yeah.
I'll get the count. I'm going to call it count 3. It should be child abuse. They're not adding a count. They're reducing a count from operating while impaired second, which is a 1 year, as far as I'm concerned, to child abuse. Fourth, 2 years probation. You cannot leave, but first of all, you have to comply with all agreements, guidelines, and requirements as indicated in the sobriety court participant handbook. 2 years probation. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law or ordinance. If you change your address, place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify probation. You have to report as directed. No alcohol, no marijuana, no illegal drugs, and you're not to go to any place that sells or dispenses or alcohol, and I'm talking as its primary source of business. I'm not going to consider it a violation if you go into 7-Eleven and buy a Diet Coke, but you're not to go to any bars. You're not to go to parties where alcohol or drugs are being consumed or dispensed. You're to submit the chemical testing, PBTs and ETGs on demand of probation. We're going to pay for those tests as long as you go every single time, and as long as you test negative every single time. You test positive, you're going to end up paying for the test, and you're going to be incarcerated. You complete the recommending 60 days. I'm going to make it 90 days on the sober link. I know you have a scram. We're going to change the scram to a sober link. It's going to be on our dime now with our grant. You fail the test, you test positive on a test, you're going to not only be subject to sanctions, you're going to be paying for your own testing for a lengthy period of time. You're to attend 12-step meetings 3 times per week and provide written proof of attendance. You're to obtain an AA-NA sponsor. You're to attend all substance abuse treatment at a facility approved by probation. You're to attend the Victims Impact Panel. That is one night put on by Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. You're to attend and complete the Armed Specialty Court Weekend Program. You're to report to Sobriety Court status review hearings with me every 2 weeks. You're to meet with probation in the off week. You're to obtain and maintain employment with proof provided to the probation department. And this is all on count 1. This is all for the OWI occupant. Less than 16, 200 fines, 200 costs, 75 victims' rights fee, $50 justice assessment. So that is 5 1/4. Your screening fee is $60 for 585. You have probation fees of $480, bringing your total to $1,065. You have sobriety court fees of $360, bringing your total to $1,425. Now, I'm going to order that you serve 11 days jail, credit 1. Actually, I'm going to order 15 days jail, credit 1, for 14. I'm going to allow you graciously to serve 10 of those days on the court work program. There is a $35 a day charge for that. You're going to serve the other 4 days by way of community service. You're going to serve 4 days of community service. I'm going to give you time to complete that, and that won't be, I'll give you all the way until May the 31st. You're going to have your hands full. You're to complete 10 days on the court work program and pay a sum of $35 for each day ordered. I'm going to make a note that that is $350 plus your $1,425. So your total here amounts to $1,775. Now, I'm going to talk about court work program fees in a second. All right. Now, if you violate, your probation could be revoked. You could be incarcerated for a year with credit for 1 day served and any other time you serve on the court work program community service. Defendant not to be completing court work. You're 5.5 months?
7 months.
7 months, I'm sorry. Not to be completing court work not to be completing or starting court work program until at least 3 months after child born. Your community service, I think you're going to be able to do one way or the other by May the 31. That's not taxing, and I'm not going to have you start on a court work program now. As to count child abuse, I'm simply going to indicate I'm putting you on the sobriety court for that as well. Sobriety court terms and conditions concurrent. This is on, and I want to make sure it's mentioned there, other sobriety court terms and conditions set forth in count 1. to run concurrent. So I'm basically ordering everything on this case that I just ordered on the other one. However, I am going to add a little bit of fines, but not much. Heather, I don't remember. Can you ask Amy? There's one of these, when it's a state case, we don't charge the victim's rights or justice assessment. I can't remember if I charge the 75 or the 50, but not both. So can you check with her if you don't know the answer, or Lisa, please? I'm going to simply go. So I'm not charging any other fees except to say 100 fines, 100 costs, and then you paid the screening fee, you're going to pay everything else, and I will either charge you 75 for the victim's rights or $50 justice assessment. So your total there is either going to be 275.
I'm checking right now.
Take your time, or 250. Again, if you violate, your probation could be revoked. You could be incarcerated for a period of 365 days with 1 day credit. Now, I just want to double check one other thing. They ran Forrest Hughes is who? Your boyfriend?
No, he's a friend of mine. He's just a friend. He just helps me out with rides and getting me.
Well, why did we send the victim's rights? He's not the father of any of the children, is he?
No, we were unsure as well. That's why he didn't have anything to say. He didn't know what to say or what to do. And when he called, he couldn't get a hold of anybody around.
Okay, Judge.
Yeah.
We charge the 50.
So it's $50, something. So it's the $50 judgment fee, justice assessment fee, for a total of $250. So you owe $250 plus you owe on this case, and I can't do much better than this, $1,775. So you owe $2,025. Now, I'm going to let you pay this case, the child abuse. I'm just going to give you a date of May the 1st. Can you do it by then? That's only $250.
I can do that, Your Honor.
And then I'm going to have you pay, and you can tell me if you can do this, but I need you to stick with it, $50 a week starting May the 8th.
I need you to say that again. I'm sorry.
50 per week beginning May the 8th. Can you do that?
Yes.
Pay 50 per week on count one beginning May the 8th. And if you ever need more time, you need to come talk to me. All amounts due by November 1 of 27. Okay? You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer. I'm not taking action on the immobilization since you didn't own the car. There's no evidence that the car owner allowed you to operate while knowing you were intoxicated, and that's what I'm going to do. You'll go meet with probation. We're going to switch out the scram. The judge said switch out the scram for Silverlink, and we're going to have to send a letter to the county because that's where she got it at. Tether. She got the scram tether at the county when the bond was set. Okay.
Okay, Judge.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Nice day with your counsel.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
Bonds continue with Judge Simpson, as they continually do. Let's go back to Judge Stevens, though. That one lady who was in front of him just a few minutes ago has returned.
Not appropriate. And the court was motivated to do this because I'm looking at the affidavit, and the affidavit states that the indications from the officer who was at the scene indicated that you might be under an influence of more than just alcohol. Now, they did test you and you did have alcohol in your system, but your bond condition is not to commit any offenses while on bond, and tetrahydrocannabinol marijuana is an offense to have in your system, to consume it without a doctor's order. And what is her bond, please?
It's $3,000. And also, Judge, it does look like she has a warrant for her arrest on a JP court. I'm about to print that as well.
You've got all kinds of fires here you're going to have to find. There's a warrant for your arrest for something else, apparently. So you're going to be taken into custody. Your bond is going to be doubled to $6,000, 3 to 6. She has to have a drug patch as a condition of bond, as well as an intoxilizer, interlock device on any alcohol, for any automobile you operate. How many children do you have? Ma'am? What are their ages?
7, 6, and 2.
7, 6, and 2? We just had Christmas, and what's the greatest gift you can give to your child? A good example, role modeling, setting an example. Your children will emulate you. Use drugs, they'll use drugs. They'll find that to be okay to do. You don't want that. You've got to set an example, man. You are a parent. You're not living your life on your own. You've got at least 3 children dependent upon you over here. So he was driving automobile operating speeding ticket she received. She did not appear, so they issued a warrant out of it. Looks like Justice Court, precinct 1, place 1, Jefferson County, for failing to appear. So you got to deal with that. But again, your bond is doubled to $6,000. You have to have an drug patch that as a condition of your bond. And you're going to have the interlocking device on any vehicle you operate. This is not a good way to start this case, nor is it the proper way to exhibit proper parenting. You have to be a role model, whether you like it or not. Nature causes parents to be role models to their children. So if you're going to be using drugs and not following the rules, then don't expect your children to. You can't get upset if they are, because they're learning bad lessons. It's so easy. You know what the right choices are. Make them. Not only for you, but for the 3 children that you brought into the world. You understand? You got to role model and be responsible and set a good example, because they're going to follow the example you set. That's why you have to set your example. Fix this. There's the next thing. We're going to, and the investigators can come to you and start inquiring about where you getting your drugs. You want to start talking about that? Well, then that's what you do when you dance with the devil, which is what drugs are, illegal drugs are. You're going to pay a price. Don't do that. You've got children at home to take care of, plus yourself. And you've got this is a state jail felony, which means you can be sentenced up to 2 years in the state jail. These are all serious, and they're all fixable. So fix it. She's a very good lawyer, and make sure it would be wise for you to heed her advice. But this is what's going to happen. You're going to be taken into custody now. Is somebody or your children here with you by any chance? Oh,
Yes. Judge, if I may just make a request, instead of, she has the warrant out of JP courts, she's going into custody anyways, instead of revoking and doubling her vote, given that I'm court appointed and she is indigent, my request would be not to punish her fiscally in terms of making her post another bond, but if I may suggest just adding those bond conditions that you've already added to the new bond, but instead keeping her current bond, but taking her on that JP warrant.
I'm going to treat her like I treat everybody.
I understand, Judge, just a request that I was to make.
This is all about fairness, and everybody pays a price no matter what it is. She's I don't know if they're giving the drugs free out on the street, but I don't think they are. You have to use your money wisely, and foremost is family. It's the family, and this is $3,000. It's one of the lowest bonds I've had in this court, and I'm just doubling it like I'm treating her like everybody else. And that's because everybody else is going to come in and just say, I want to be given the treatment because I'm indigent, but I'm going to commit violations and I'm going to be treated differently. No, sorry, it's a price you pay. That's why I urge people to follow them, and then it works out fine. Okay. That is all. Thank you. You're no sus in this. Do better, please. I know you can.
So we talked in the pre-show this morning about strong men and the need to have stronger men, not to be confused with a strong man. There's a difference. We just saw the case for strong women and how if you don't have a strong woman, that creates just as many problems, especially with the raising of children. What'd she have? What was it, like 9, 7, and 2 or 7, 4, and 2, something like that? 3 young kids. And mama's in jail now. What are you going to do, I suppose? Let's head back up to Judge McNally.
Your name, sir?
Daniel Joseph Conlon.
You're charged with driving on a suspended. You're also charged with false information. You have the right to an attorney. If you would like an attorney, I'll be happy to provide you with one at public expense right now. Would you like a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're going to take you, you go sit out in the hallway. Mr. Cayley, I'm going to send in this Conway case, and that will be with Flat Rock, but he wants an attorney. I know. He wants an attorney, so we'll give him an attorney. I don't know if maybe you can help expedite that, Roger. He's running around here.
I'm running around like chicken with heck on.
What's that?
Judge, you should have Mr. Osmond's file.
I know, they just put it up. Audrey Ann Cousineau, 25F245225. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jeff Osmond on behalf of Audrey, please know.
Ma'am, your name?
Audrey Crystal.
She's charged with operating while intoxicated. What do you have here? I mean, first of all, does she stand mute, wave forward?
Stand mute, wave forward, reading for arraignment purposes, no legal report.
Okay, I'll enter a not guilty plea, and now she's going to plead guilty to operating while impaired with the OWI to be dismissed, correct? Is that what you want to do, ma'am?
Yes.
If you plead guilty here, the possible penalties are up to 300 fine. I'm sorry, up to 300 fines, 93 days jail, 360 hours community service. Court costs are all of those. 4 points would be added to your traffic record, and your license would be suspended or revoked in accordance with your traffic record. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
And did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes.
If you plead guilty, you will be giving up all those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
Do you have any questions before we go on?
No.
To the charge operating while visibly impaired, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Were you operating a motor vehicle on November 23 of 25 at 1:55 in the morning on Telegraph near Eastern River Drive in Flat Rock?
Yes.
Did you consume alcohol at that time? And if so, what did you consume and how much?
Yes, I got a blood test. It was 0.15.
0.159?
Yeah.
And do you stipulate that that was an accurate reading for purposes of the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No,
How much did you drink that night, ma'am?
I had 5 drinks that night.
What kind of drinks?
2 seltzers, a mixed drink, and 2 beers.
Why were you pulled over by the police?
I was in Poplar Lane.
What do you mean by that?
I was in the straight lane instead of the left turn.
She made a left turn from the wrong lane.
I see. Anybody force you to plead guilty here?
No.
You still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to accept your guilty plea. I find it to be an accurate plea made voluntarily and understandingly. That plea is accepted. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the OWI. I'm going to give you a personal bond of $1,000. I do want you going to AANA at least one time a week. She's 21, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're young to be here, and that concerns me, right? You have twice the legal limit. So I'm going to go ahead in the order that you not leave the state without the consent of the court, that you cannot violate a law. You must appear in court as directed, AANA once a week. He's going to hand you a form. No marijuana, no alcohol, no illegal drugs. Do you understand all that?
Yes, I understand.
All right. And also no contact with prosecution witnesses. We'll give you a copy of this bond sheet. We'll give you a copy of your notice, and then you're going over to be screened and assessed. You have a date for me, Heather?
Yes, February 5th at 9:15.
With you?
February 5th at 9. Judge, I'm gonna be gone February 5th through the 8th.
Good for you. All right, let's, I don't really even need to do this on a flat rock. There was no accident, right?
No, there's nothing.
I don't need to do this even on a flat rock day, Heather. We could do this on a Monday if you want, the following week, but he's not available on the 5th. If you want to do it on the.
What were the dates that he's out of town?
5th through the 8th.
Right.
February.
Do you want to do the 4th? Does that work?
That would work.
Okay, we'll do the 4th.
Let me take a look at a time for the 4th real quick here.
He's retained. How about we try 8:30? Is that good?
We could do 8:30 if he's
Perfect.
available. Okay.
8:30. Okay, good luck. Be careful. Okay, thank you.
Probation.
Yes. Yes, and she can first go down and get her notice and then back over to probation, and they'll give her a condition of the bond sheet too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day. Good luck.
Thank you.
People against. Caled Holly, 25R 514-447. Good morning, sir. Your name? Okay, just keep your voice up nice and loud. You are going to plead responsible to impeding traffic, right?
Yes, sir.
To that charge, responsible or not responsible? Okay, I'm going to accept your plea of responsibility to that charge. I'm going to set fines and costs in the amount of $150, okay? You can go down the hall and pay that, and you're all set.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck. Jacob Martin, file 25R5-14450. Good morning.
Yeah.
Your name?
Jacob Martin.
All right, so you're going to plead to impeding, right?
Yes, sir.
Responsible or not responsible to this? Plea is accepted. 150 is your total. You can go down the hall. Hang on 1 second, please. Oh, no, I can't charge just 150. You've got some entries here. $175, okay?
Yes, sir.
You can go down the hall and pay that, and you're all set. Good luck.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. How you doing, Mr. Daly?
Well,
Good.
this is curious. In 4 cases.
Oh, okay, okay. Come on up here, ma'am. People against Kira Graham, Kira Ann Graham, 25F-245-877. All right, how are you?
Good.
Your name?
Kara Graham.
You met with a prosecutor. You're going to plead guilty, this says, to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, right?
Correct.
That's 0 points. It won't go on your record. If you plead to that, I'm going to dismiss the suspend charge. The possible penalties on this are up to 500 fines, 90 days jail, costs, or all of those penalties. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights form here
Yes, I
today?
do.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and we're not going to have a trial of any kind. Do you understand me?
Yes, we do.
You still wish to waive your right to a lawyer?
Yes.
The charge, allowing unlicensed driver to drive, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Were you in control of a motor vehicle that was being operated on Telegraph near Leonard and Flat Rock, December 7 of 25?
Yes.
And were you operating that vehicle? And your license was suspended at the time, and you knew that. Is that true? It's still suspended, right?
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
Yes.
Please accept it to that charge. I'll sentence you and I'm dismissing the suspend pursuant to the agreement. Give me 1 second, okay? Where do you work at?
I work at a place called Flex Services. I do clerical work for a small business.
This is a third-party poster. Who's the third-party poster?
My mother.
Is your mother here?
No.
She gonna let you apply the bond?
Yes.
You better call there. Go down the hall,
Okay.
get your phone.
I have it.
Okay, just go right out in the hall, call your mom, and I'm gonna have her call you, Heather, right? Or should I have her call the cashier?
Cashier. Her extension is 212.
So listen, it's 734. Here, I'm gonna write it down for you.
Thank you.
Here, Sadie, can you make that to her, please? You come on up there and get that.
Thank you.
And then if she can call, then they'll tell me, then I'll sentence you on this, okay? Fair enough?
Yes.
All right, good.
Change it up. Let's go to the great state of Tennessee. This is Judge Wolfe. He's just taken the bench. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, the matter's a little bit out of order, so we'll take the first case is State versus Cody Hunter Ragsdale. We are ready on that motion to revoke bond. Bring your client around. All right, this is the state's motion. Mr. Brooks, are you ready? All right, you wish to put on proof or you want to make an opening statement? All right, call your first witness. If you will raise your right hand, be placed under oath. We'll pull that microphone toward you. There you go. Thank you.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Douglas Carl Jr. Weaver.
And Mr. Weaver, do you know a Cody Ragsdale?
Yes, sir, I do.
How do you know Mr. Ragsdale?
From an incident that occurred at the gas station and pursued to my house that evening. I don't recall the exact date.
All right. Would that have been on October 20th, 2024?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What exactly happened at the gas station?
I went into the gas station around 6 o'clock. Not 6 o'clock. I got off work around 4 o'clock and I got to the gas station somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact time. I got a 12-pack of beer. I went out to the car and my buddy's sitting out there screaming and yelling at some dude with a bat in his hand because the guy just spit on my window and got back in his car.
The question is, your objection is on what basis? Hearsay?
There's a DNA swab.
When there's an objection, sir, just be quiet until I can make a ruling on it.
I have no objection. I mean,
all right, we'll sustain the objection.
Can you testify to what you saw?
When I came out to the parking lot, I saw my friend yelling at him, and he was in the driver's seat of the car laughing and pointing at the car and saying he wasn't going to clean it up. He wasn't going to clean it up.
Okay. And did you ever see what what Cody was referring to?
It was a gigantic loogie that had blood in it on my window of my car.
All right, and that's something you actually laid eyes on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and he was saying, I'm not going to clean it up.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not going to clean it up. Okay. Do you see that person here in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Where is he sitting and what is he wearing?
Right there, wearing a red Hollister sweater.
Okay. And after that, what did you do?
I proceeded to grab the bat from my friend and tell him to please clean it off the window. And I had no problem. I didn't know who he was. And I just had no clue why he spit on my window. And he refused and then told me that he knows who I am and that I robbed him, and pretty much that he wasn't going to clean nothing up. And then he grabbed something out of the door of his car and went to go get out of the car with it, and was pretty much telling me he wasn't going to do nothing, and that started calling me B word and cussing at me, telling me that I robbed him a couple years ago and that he's not cleaning nothing up and that he knows me, he knows where I live and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Did he make any other type of threats at the gas station?
No, sir. He just told me he knows where I live and that he's got something for me, is what he said.
Okay. And what did you do after this? How did this end at the gas station?
He went to step out of the vehicle with what I assumed to be a screwdriver or something like that. And I swung my bat at his vehicle, and then I got in my car and went to go leave. And he followed me almost all the way to my house and then turned around. And I don't know where he went from there. But I got home. I told my dad what happened. I was sitting there. I opened up a beer, started drinking it. My buddy that went to work with me had left. And 20 minutes go by, a car pulls into my driveway, and my brother and his girlfriend are outside painting pumpkins. And they tell me there's a car coming down the driveway and there's people getting out of it. And then 5 seconds later, you just start hearing gunshots going off.
Okay. And where were you when the gunshots started?
I was sitting on my couch at first, and then as soon as they told me somebody was in the driveway, I ran out to the porch to see what was happening because I already figured pretty much what was happening.
Had you made it outside before you heard the first gunshot?
No, sir.
Okay. So while you're still in the house, you hear what you think at the time was a gunshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what time of day is it when this is occurring?
It was right before it got dark. I don't remember the exact time. It was around 4 something. It might have been a little later than that. I don't recall exactly.
Because this happened in the fall. You said October.
Yes, sir. Right when it was about to get dark. It was like 30 minutes before it got dark or something like that.
Okay, so there's still light out.
Yes, sir.
And what does the makeup of your yard look like? Is it treeless?
There is some trees, but I can see in the fall, because there's no leaves, all the way down to my drive. I can see all the mailboxes next to me and everything down the hill.
But when you exit your house, what are you able to make out?
I see the truck that I seen at the gas station at the bottom of my hill, and there was 2 guys standing there shooting. And after that, my dad went and started running down there with his firearm, and I just tried to get my son and my wife and everybody to the back of the house to get them away from it because I didn't know what was really going to happen. If they were going to run up my hill or something like that. I was scared.
Right. Were you able to make out any individuals?
I couldn't make out individual faces. I just remember seeing the truck that was at the gas station. It was a very easy to remember that was the same truck because it was a crappy paint job and had a busted mirror on it.
Right. And you said you weren't able to make out the people. Did you see where they were at?
They were
like where the shots were coming from?
Yeah, they were about 20 feet behind my gate, like into the driveway where they pulled all the way in, and I could see them standing at the back of the truck.
I think you just said what he's able to see, Judge. That's the question.
I think the question is what was he able to see, and he's explaining what he could see. He said he couldn't see the faces of the people, but he's now describing what he saw. Overruled.
So I seen them standing at the back of the truck, and that's when I told my wife, run to the backyard, because we live in a mobile home, and they're not really going to stop bullets. So I was just wondering how are we going to get them away from all this, because I thought they were going to try to force their way up the driveway or something. And that's the only thing I was trying to do at that time was save my family from getting hurt.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, were you able to make out with your own eyes how many people, like any other descriptors aside from, you can't make them out particularly, but were you able to make out any descriptors of the people?
I seen a tall gentleman, and he was wearing a black hoodie or something around there. I have no clue who it was, and he was holding a long rifle. It looked like. I couldn't tell anything else with that. And then I seen him, I was assuming, somebody on the other side of the car, I don't know who it was, and they were holding what appeared to be a pistol, because like I said, you could see directly into the bottom of my driveway. There wasn't any trees or anything blocking the view. And after that, my dad was running down the driveway, and they started to get in their car and try to leave.
Were you able to make out male or female?
I couldn't tell if it was a male or female, but I've never met a woman that big.
Okay. All right. So one tall individual with a long gun, one other individual with what appeared to be a handgun from your vantage point. About how many shots at that time? Like, how long did this last?
It seemed like it lasted for a long time, but I know it didn't, and it felt like they were just shooting and shooting. But to me, I thought it was around 30 shells. I don't know what was ended up being collected or anything like that, but that's what it sounded like to me, because you could tell they emptied everything they had in their gun before they left.
Okay. All right. And where were you when it's like when the shot stopped?
I was running back to the front of the house trying to see where my dad was, because last time I seen him, he was running down the driveway, and that's when they were already peeling out of the driveway.
So had you had an opportunity at that point to get your family to safety?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where were they at?
I put them in the backyard. We have a shed back there, and I stuck them behind it.
Okay. And who was all on scene at the shooting?
My wife, my brother, his girlfriend, my son, my mom, and my dad.
And who was all in the house at the time when this started?
My mom, my wife, my baby, and me.
And where were the people outside when you exited the house? Where did you see your family and friends outside?
My brother and my sister-in-law were sitting on a picnic table that's right in front of our front porch, right in front of the driveway, and they took off running to see a gunshot, and really in the car pulling up, and it was 5-6 feet away from where they were sitting, where one of the bullets were recovered.
Okay. And then, was there any damage to any property?
There is a gunshot hole in the side of my trailer that penetrated through my dad's bathroom and then went through my dog's cage while he was sleeping in it and hit the gun safe that he has in there.
Okay. I guess was that bullet recovered?
Yes, sir.
Was anybody injured?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you have another incident occur with Mr. Ragsdale?
Yes, sir.
All right. Would that have been on in February of this year?
Yes, sir.
All right. What happened? Where did this incident happen?
It happened at Thunder Alley, the bowling alley.
Okay. And going back, your house, where is that located?
It is approximately 20 minutes from the bowling alley.
Okay. And that's where
Mr.
this.
Brooks, did I understand you to say it was February of this year?
Yes, sir.
Well, since February hasn't arrived in 2026.
I'm sorry. February
to clarify
2025. Yeah. Thank you, Judge. My calendar hasn't switched yet.
We were time jumping or something.
Yes,
so.
sir. No, my internal calendar has not reset yet, apparently.
Gotcha, okay.
So February 2025. Okay. The shooting, what was the address of this shooting?
1454 South Bear Creek Road.
All right. Is that located here in Dixon County?
Yes, sir. It's on the Dixon County Bon-Aqua line.
Okay. Now, where did this next incident happen in February last year?
It happened in the Thunder Alley, the bowling alley in Dixon.
Okay, that's located here in Dixon County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened at Thunder Alley?
I was bowling with my friends all night long, and then some lady came to my table and started asking questions about me and asking if I was DJ and all these weird questions. And I pretty much talked to her for a minute and then told her I didn't want to talk to her anymore. And an hour maybe goes by, and I get up and went to go do my last bowl because we're about to leave. And I saw Mr. Ragsdale walking towards the snack bar because he was heading towards the door. And when he looked at me, he put his finger up and then said something to me. So I said, I have a restraining order against you. You're not supposed to be here. You need to leave. And then he starts cussing me out and just saying all sorts of weird stuff, and tells me again with the lady I'm with that that he knows where we live and that he's not done pretty much with us. And when he was going to the door, he stopped and turned around and pulled his shirt up, showing he had a gun in his hip, and then started air humping, like thrusting in the air.
Right. And when he displayed his firearm, how did that make you feel?
It made me scared that he was going to wait for me to leave the bowling alley and then try to shoot me.
The person that displayed his firearm to you that made the humping motions in the air, do you see that person here in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Where is he sitting? What is he wearing?
He's sitting right there, and he's wearing the red Hollister sweater.
Okay. Was somebody with you that day?
I was with 3 friends.
Okay. And who was was anybody standing near you when he displayed his firearm to you?
Yes, sir.
And I mean, you kind of gave a paraphrase of what he was saying. Do you know any specifics of what he was saying that day?
I think he was drunk, so he wasn't making very much sense to me, and I really didn't understand what he was saying, but I don't know for sure. And he was pretty much threatening the woman that was with me more than me that time, because she was getting in his face and telling him, you need to leave, you need to leave. And he was making more threats towards her, saying that he's not the one, that he'll get something for her. The same thing he said to me at the gas station.
Okay. So, you said he seemed drunk. What do you mean by that?
He was pretty much stumbling around and slurring his speech when he was talking to me. And then based off of the humping the air in the middle of a wheelchair ramp, I'm assuming that might be a part of that, unless it's just mental error.
Did that end your interaction with Mr. Ragsdale that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what time of day was that?
It was 8 or 9, somewhere around 8 or 9 at night, because we were about to go to Applebee's.
All right. And that incident several months after the alleged shooting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I have this witness, Judge.
McNally, you have questions?
Said that your name is Douglas Weaver Jr., is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct? But Douglas Weaver Sr. also lives in
Yes, sir.
and that is your home, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you testified that you did not know Mr. Ragsdale and never seen him before.
Not to my knowledge.
And how was it that you were able to provide the name of Mr. Ragsdale to the detective in this case?
The picture we had at the gas station, we showed it to a lot of people, and we showed it to the friend that was with me at the gas station's wife, and she had rode the bus with Mr. Ragsdale for a couple years.
Okay, so you talked to, who is that person? Who did you talk to and gave you the name of Mr. Ragsdale?
Gannett, so I don't know her last name, but it was the picture that I had from the gas station I showed, and she said that is definitely him.
Okay, when did you get that picture from the gas station?
I do not remember the exact day that we went and got the picture. I think it was the day after the shooting.
Were you with the detectives in that?
No.
Were you with the detectives when they reviewed the footage?
No, sir.
You have talked to the detectives and law enforcement on many occasions in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and approximately how many times do you think you've talked to a law enforcement officer regarding this?
3, 4.
Okay, and do you recall when you actually told them that you knew the identity?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how was it that you knew that where Mr. Ragsdale lived?
Because he rode the bus with my neighbor.
What's your neighbor's name?
Gannett. I don't know her last name. She's Spanish.
How long have you lived there?
I've lived at my house for 11 years.
Okay, and how long does Lynette live there?
Probably 10.
Okay. And you don't know her name?
I don't know her last name. I'm not Spanish, sir.
All right. You know it, and you're just not.
Alzer Perez, you want me to spell it out for you? I don't know how to do that either.
And so you just started conducting this independent investigation based on what was your description of the person?
Yes, sir. Based off the fact that I had a picture of his tattoo on his forearm, and then he has the tattoo on his forearm.
Okay.
Kind of made the dots connect.
Okay. And you're saying that she happened to know Mr. Ragsdale, recognized the tattoo, and told you where he lived?
No, she did not recognize the tattoo. She recognized his face.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear. You said that at no point did you see Mr. Ragsdale or was able to identify Mr. Ragsdale at your residence the night that it.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Because you were in the house when the shooting started, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was sitting on the couch right next
Okay.
to the front door.
And when the shooting started, you were, I guess you have a son. Did you tell me you're a son?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you took the son and everybody that was in the house
Yes, sir.
and you got them out of the house back behind a shed. And by that point, had the shooting stopped?
It was still going while they were running, but when I got back around to the front of the house, it had stopped.
All right. So you were running to the front of the house, and that is when you saw, that's when you said you were able to identify Mr. Ragsdale truck, or,
Yes, sir.
or the truck that you had seen earlier at the gas station.
Yes, sir.
You were able to see that truck leaving the premises.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you say how far they had backed into the driveway?
It was after my gate, which is about maybe 25, 30 feet, they backed in another 20 feet. So it's approximately 50, 60 feet into my driveway.
Okay. So it's about a third of the way up the driveway?
No,
No?
no, my driveway is very long.
Oh, is it?
It wraps around a big hill right there, but you can see all the way down the side of it. It's just a little plot of land right there.
I guess as the bird flies, how far from where the truck, the maximum it entered into your property, how far was that from, say, the front of your trailer?
No, 75 feet, maybe 70 feet.
Okay. And I haven't been out there, but I'm visualizing, are there a lot of, is it open front yard, or are there trees in the front yard?
There is trees.
Lots of trees?
Nah.
No? Is it enough trees that where you don't have to cut the yard?
We don't usually cut the trees or the yard.
Okay, because the grass just doesn't grow under the amount of shade that it gets.
No, because
No.
it's in the woods.
It's in the woods. Okay, so you would then agree there's a lot of trees there, right?
I guess.
Okay. How many would you estimate? How many trees you have in your front yard?
10.
10, okay. Now, let me take you back to the gas station. At no point did Mr. Ragsdale get out of his truck?
No, sir.
Once you were outside? You don't know if he got out before?
No, I know he got out before.
Well, you were in the store, right?
Yes, sir.
You didn't see him get to the store?
No, I seen the passenger of the vehicle come out of the store.
Okay, all right. But Mr. Ragsdale, you never saw him outside the truck?
No, sir.
And you asked him to go clean up spit on the driver's side
Yes, sir.
window of your vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he said that he wasn't going to do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You actually went and got some paper towels from somewhere?
Yes, sir.
All right. So is it fair to say that kind of ticked you off a little bit?
Yes, sir. And if he would have just been a man and wiped the damn window off, then it would have stopped a lot of aggression. But the threatening was what really started the aggression.
It would have stopped a lot of aggression on your part, right?
No, his part.
Okay. Well, you said that you had grabbed the bat before you asked him to wipe the spit off.
No, I did not grab the bat before. I did not
Okay.
say that.
Well, then when he refused, then you
Yes,
got
sir, I
more
took the bat from my
aggressive
friend.
and took the bat from Cameron.
Yes.
Now, Cameron was in the store with you as well.
No, he was not.
No, he didn't go into the store at all
No,
with
he
you.
was in the parking lot.
Okay. The entire time?
He might have went in, like I said, I do not recall exactly.
Okay. So you don't know if Cameron saw him spit on your car or not?
Yes, I do know.
Because of what Cameron told you?
Yes.
But personally, you don't have any personal knowledge that Cameron knows that he spit on your car?
No, but I trust my friend.
And you trust your friend to the point where your friend already has a bat
Yes, sir.
out. And what's he doing with the bat?
Trying to get him to clean my window off because what kind of sane human being spits a bloody loogie on someone's window?
And you thought that was appropriate?
I don't know what's appropriate because that's not my say-so.
Would you consider a bat a deadly weapon?
Yes.
Okay. And what was, how do you get someone to clean spit off your window?
I asked him to clean it off, and then he pulled his little shiv out, and that's when I started to use the bat as telling him, hey, you're not going to get out of that car and try to stab me, sir.
Well, no, the question was, how did you were trying to force him. Cameron was trying to force him, and then you were trying to force him to clean spit off your window, correct?
Yes, after he assaulted my vehicle and vandalized it. Yes, I did.
Okay. He assaulted your vehicle.
And vandalized it. Yes, he did. He spit on my vehicle, and that is disgusting, and I don't know what diseases he may carry.
Were you going to use the bat?
No.
Okay. But you did use the bat.
After he tried to get out of the car.
And vandalized his vehicle.
After he spit on my car, yes.
No, it was after you took.
After yes, I
took the
said
bat
yes
into
after
your
he
hand.
tried to get out of my car.
Hold on just a second. Wait till he finishes asking his question before you begin answering it, and you will let him finish his answer before you ask the next question.
Yes, sir.
And this is somebody you don't know at all, never met him before in your life.
Not to my knowledge
All
for
right.
the fifth time.
Do you have a bunch of run-ins with complete strangers like that?
No, sir.
No? You don't have any kind of record of assault or anything like that?
No, sir.
All right. And, I guess back to the question, you were gonna threaten or intimidate him
Yes.
with this bat so that he would get out and clean spit off the window?
Yes.
Okay. And, in doing so, you struck his vehicle
Yes.
and knocked the mirror off the driver's side door.
Yes.
The same door that he's sitting beside
Yes.
in the driver's seat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you hit the mirror because he actually pulled a knife out of his pocket.
No, I did not.
No, okay. What did you say?
I said that he pulled something that appeared to be a screwdriver out of his pocket.
Screwdriver.
That's what it appeared to be.
Now that's pretty important. Did you tell the?
That is what is wrote down in the report.
Did you tell the police a screwdriver?
Yes, that is what is wrote down in the report.
Okay. Have you written your own report?
When I wrote my statement, I said what looked like a screwdriver, and he was using it as a knife, trying to use it as a knife, holding in his hand like this.
Okay. And sitting in his.
Yes, he made sure to wait until I got out to the parking lot before he left because he wanted to see me looking at the spit on my window.
Okay. So wrapping that up, he still never got out of the truck, did he?
No, sir.
This entire incident, and you get in your vehicle and leave.
Yes, sir.
And Cameron gets in on the passenger side.
No, he was in his own vehicle.
Oh, he was driving.
Yes, sir.
Your vehicle.
No, he was driving his own vehicle, as I just said.
Okay, so he didn't ride to the store with you.
No, sir. He followed me.
Okay. And you've been drinking?
No, sir. I just got off a 12-hour shift.
You say you started drinking once you got home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the night of the bowling alley, were you drinking that night?
Maybe 2 beers by 4 hours.
And you were with your son?
No.
No? You said the female that you were with.
Yes.
Okay, was that a girlfriend?
No, sir.
Okay. Just a friend.
Yes, sir.
And who else were you with?
2 of my other friends that I go bowling with every Thursday.
Okay, what are their names?
Logan Work and Wade Lepowski.
And what is your friend that's a girl, what was her name?
Jennifer Fisher.
And you said that Mr. Ragsdale was with a girl.
He was with a few people. I don't recall who any of them were.
And you know how many people he was with?
Maybe 4, 3, I don't know.
Okay. And one of those was a girl, correct?
Yes, sir.
Or at least one was a girl.
Yes, sir.
And that girl came over and was wanted to talk to you.
Yes, sir. She started initiating a contact with the other female and then started talking to me, asking me what my name was.
Okay. And she didn't, well, I'll withdraw that question. You didn't know if Mr. Ragsdale had sent her over there to talk to you?
No, sir. At that point, I didn't even know Mr. Ragsdale was in the bowling alley until I had went up to go bowl and he was leaving.
Okay. And you said y'all were almost getting ready to leave. You're
Yes, sir.
finishing up.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. Where did the only time that you said you saw a gun at the bowling alley
Yes, sir.
in Mr. Ragsdale's possession was when he was leaving and he lifted up his shirt?
Yes, sir. And then he started thrusting the air repeatedly for about 20 seconds.
Sometimes you talk a little fast for me. He was leaving and what?
He started thrusting the air for about 20 seconds with his shirt pulled up, and he just stood in the same spot in the wheelchair ramp.
He was doing what with the air? I'm sorry.
He was dry humping the air. Like he was pretty much telling me he was saying F me.
Like this?
No, like he was getting down on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Must be a new term.
Yeah.
So would you call that like some kind of sexual innuendo?
I don't know what it is. It was very disturbing and it made me scared because I was about to leave the bowling alley and I didn't want him to sit out there and wait on me to leave and try to do something outside in the parking lot. So I immediately called the police.
And you're saying with him doing that and making some kind of thrusting movements with his hip, you were able to see a gun?
Yes, sir. He made it very clear to show the gun.
And were you able to describe the gun?
It looked like a black handgun from what I could see. It was just the back of it hanging out, a little bit of it.
Did you have a gun?
No, sir.
At your house?
I did not.
Okay. And when he was making these thrusting, that's the only time he indicated, or that's the only time you could see him with the gun?
Yes, sir.
He didn't pull it out, he didn't touch it?
He had his hand on it when he was thrusting. He pulled his shirt up and held it up with his arms like this, and then had his hands on his hips.
Okay. Is that because his pants are baggy?
Probably because he doesn't know how to wear a belt.
Okay. Just a couple more questions. You said you had a restraining order against him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you take out a restraining order?
It was maybe a week after the shooting had occurred. Actually, I'm pretty sure the detective helped me make sure the restraining order was filed, and we had somebody that was supposed to be watching over my house for a day or two to make sure he didn't come back.
Right. This is the very first time you've ever testified in any of this?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
You didn't testify to any kind of restraining order hearing or anything like that?
No, sir.
And you went back and looked at the video at the market. Did you go back and look at the video at the bowling alley?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. That's because you said you already knew who the perpetrator was?
Yes, sir. And I called the police, and I figured they would handle everything from there.
Okay. And the girl that was with you,
Yes,
not
sir.
your girl, not a girlfriend,
No,
but
sir.
the girl that was with you that bowled with you that night, correct?
Yes, sir.
And had she been drinking?
She had one beer. She was driving that night, so she wasn't really drinking.
Okay, but you were drinking.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, were you intoxicated?
No, sir.
No. All right. She was so intimidated that she followed Mr. Ragsdale out of the bowling alley, didn't she?
No, she was telling him to leave because he was taunting me, and she knew that she didn't want me having any interaction with him at all because of the already pending case.
Oh, or are people able to tell you, hey, calm down?
Yeah, I was more or less scared than I was upset. I wasn't very angry or anything. I was actually scared for my life because I didn't want to leave and then him try to do something to me in the parking lot. That was the only fear I had.
It seems like you, instead of backing down or letting it slide or reporting it to the police, it seems like you react physically. Is that fair to say?
I did not at the bowling alley.
You did not do that at the bowling alley?
No, sir.
Okay. You got kind of upset the last time we were in court and came out and said some pretty
When
aggressive
Cody looked
stuff.
at me dead in my eyes, yes, I did get a little upset. And I think it is a little disrespectful to have the victim walking out to the parking lot with a man who just shot up his house. Would you guys do that with a rape victim?
We were already outside, correct?
Yes.
And you saw us outside.
And then Cody turned around and made eye contact with me.
And we were well down the sidewalk when you made
No,
sure
you
that
guys
you
were,
walked
like,
within
right in
feet
front of the
us.
door.
One at a time, please. Wait for him to finish his question before you begin answering.
We were 40, 50 feet from the front door, and you walked within feet of us and said something to him first. Did you not?
You guys were in the sidewalk on the way to my vehicle. Standing in the sidewalk on the way to my vehicle.
All right. You knew that we were trying to avoid you, right?
No, it made it seem like you were just standing on the sidewalk in the middle of, in the front of the building.
No, we tried to avoid you up here inside the courthouse and inside the courtroom.
I did not see Cody that day because when I came in here, I was told I had to leave the courtroom because there was no room.
No further questions.
Mr. Brooks, you have a redirect. Thank you, sir. Mr. Weaver, you may sit down, have a seat in the courtroom. You may call your next witness.
So, friends, while we wait for the next witness to come up, I just want to make it clear we're going to ride this for however long it takes. So far, my list of things: bloody loogies, sizable women, firearms, bowling alleys, mobile homes, air humping, unpronounceable Spanish names, and the Kool and the Gang reference to Get Down on It. This case does indeed have everything. So let's all continue to enjoy.
Step up, please. Come around, raise your right hand, be placed under oath. Have a seat.
You please state your name for the record.
Officer Joel Moss, City of Aaron Police Department.
Okay. Where were you employed on or about February 13th, 2025?
As a police officer with the City of Dixon Police Department.
Okay. Did you have an occasion on that date to respond to Thunder Alley?
Yes, sir.
Is that located here in Dixon County?
Yes, sir.
What brought you to Thunder Alley?
We were dispatched to a possible aggravated assault.
Okay. And what was your participation in that investigation?
As the initial officer and the investigating officer for that assault.
Okay. And where did you initially go as part of your investigation?
I responded to Thunder Alley. I made contact with the victims. I'd have to glance up my affidavit to get their exact names. I made contact with the victims and also witnesses, got their statements, got the suspect information to include his vehicle information, put out the information over the radio for be on the lookout for on his vehicle, so that way the other officers could start looking for his vehicle. Then I left Thunder Alley and we started searching for the suspect's vehicle.
And were you able to eventually make contact with the suspect?
Yes, we were. And officers initiated a felony traffic stop at close to Highway 46 and the interstate. And we placed Mr. Ragsdale in custody.
You say Mr. Ragsdale. Do you see, are you referring to Cody Ragsdale?
Yes, sir.
Do you see that person here in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
He's wearing a red shirt, sitting next to the defense attorney.
And when you first make contact with Mr. Ragsdale, does he make any statements?
He had made a spontaneous utterance to Officer Hagewood, advising that this was in relation to Thunder Alley. We had also located a semi-automatic handgun on his person.
So before questions ever asked, he said, "Is this about Thunder Alley?"
Yes, sir.
Okay. You said a handgun was found. Where was that located?
In his jacket pocket.
Okay. And can you describe that handgun?
It was a semi-automatic pistol. I would have to glance at my affidavit to get the exact model number due to the length of time since then, but I remember it was a semi-automatic pistol.
Okay. And did he give you any issues as he's been taken into custody?
Yes, sir. He refused to get in the back of the patrol car when I tried to place him in it, and we eventually had to utilize my OC spray him with it, then get him in the back of the car, and he continued to cuss us out. Had to push him into the back of the car forcibly to get him into the back of my patrol car because he did not want to get into it.
So how did he resist?
He kicked at the door and was pushing on the seat, refusing to get into the car.
Okay. Did he make any other statements in regards to the incident at Thunder Alley?
I do not recall.
Okay. Did you make any other observations about Mr. Ragsdale at the traffic stop?
As I recall, he was under the influence of. I'd have to double check my affidavit, but.
Would you like to refresh your memory?
Yes, sir.
Judge Malpass up his warrant.
You may.
Take your time, officer. Be able to refresh your recollection.
Yes, sir.
When you say you think he was intoxicated, like, I guess what led you to believe that was potential?
He smelled of the odor of marijuana.
Okay. And I'll ask the question, like, did y'all do any field sobriety task or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there any reason why y'all didn't y'all didn't pursue a DUI investigation?
No, I didn't see him driving, so.
Okay, so that would have been another officer to pursue that if that was the case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I have this witness, Judge.
We got any other questions?
Well, I take that, you weren't the officer that stopped the vehicle, correct?
No, sir. I responded as the backup officer.
Okay, but, and I guess that response to the stop of that vehicle, you know about how much longer that was after I guess your arrival at Thunder Alley?
I do not recall.
Okay, but were you the first officer on Thunder Alley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so your involvement in this case deals directly with Thunder Alley and then the stop where some marijuana was found?
Yes, sir, and the firearm.
Okay. And did you interview Mr. Weaver Jr. at Thunder Alley? The younger gentleman that is one of the victims at the earlier shooting at his trailer.
I do not recall if he was one of the victims or not at Thunder Alley.
Please. All right. You don't know if you interviewed Mr. Weaver?
He was the younger gentleman that I saw come in who was interviewed or on the stand before me. Is that correct?
Let me go off on a different direction. Maybe we'll get there. You did interview people?
Yes.
At Thunder Alley, okay. And from those people, you were able to get a description of the car?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And you put that description of the car out?
Yes.
And at some point in time, you were told that, based on that description, did you, and based on your, be on the lookout, did you say that this individual could have a weapon?
Yes, I did, because based on the interviews from the people at Thunder Alley, he had lifted up his shirt after an argument and showed the firearm, which was under his shirt. And the argument was based on allegedly Mr. Ragsdale had shot up a house of some of the people prior to the incident at Thunder Alley.
All right. And tell us what you remember. Do you recall who it was that told you about him lifting up his shirt?
I have the name written down in my affidavit as I recall.
Okay. I didn't read the whole thing. I didn't want to delay the court, but. I'm going to let you find it. Refresh your memory.
All right, so Mr. Weaver advised that Mr. Ragsdale approached him and lifted his shirt, displaying a gun he had on his hip.
Okay.
and put his hand on it.
And so now that refreshed your memory, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember Mr. Weaver Jr. saying that Mr. Ragsdale approached him?
Yes.
Do you remember Mr. Weaver Jr. saying anything about him observing the firearm while he was doing some kind of thrusting motions with his hip?
He said he had lifted up his shirt and placed his hand on the firearm, which was located on his hip.
Do you remember any kind of thrusting motion or any kind of?
I do not
vulgarity
recall
or
that
anything like
exact
that?
statement, sir.
Okay. Would that have been important for you to include it in a report?
It might be on my main report, but for the affidavit, which states probable cause, no, that was not important.
You did do a report.
Yes, sir. I did a full report.
Okay.
To include victim statements.
Okay. And you, did you ever talk to Mr. Weaver Jr. after this incident?
No, sir.
Okay. So that's the only night that you've ever interviewed him?
Yes, sir.
And it was strictly about Thunder Alley?
Yes, sir.
And what he alleged to you as an assault by the display of a deadly weapon?
Yes, sir. And then follow-up investigations have been conducted by the detectives division.
What was his intoxication level, do you think?
I do not recall.
Did you smell any alcohol in him?
I know it was in a bowling alley with a bar, so I don't recall whether he was intoxicated or not.
And were you aware that, and during their statement or anybody that you interviewed that night, were you ever told that someone followed him out of the bowling alley?
I do not recall, no.
And last question, did you secure the video at the bowling alley?
We were unable to retrieve it.
What happened?
I contacted Thunder Alley a few times. I was not able to get the video from them.
They had cameras, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and they had those cameras functioning that night?
The people working that night weren't able to get the video that night.
Okay, but you asked them for it that night?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you followed up about how much longer after that you followed up?
And the following few nights, Officer Purtle, who was also a security officer there, tried contacting the owner, trying to get a hold of them to get the video as well.
And you took the lead in this Thunder Alley investigation, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they told you, what was the reason that they didn't have the video anymore?
I do not recall.
Okay, but you would have put that in your report, that you attempted to get the video and they were unable to provide it for whatever reason.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Brooks, any further follow? Thank you, Officer. You may stand down. Mr. Brooks, you may call your next witness. Step right around here. Raise your right hand, be placed on the oath.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Detective Jim Gardner,
And where are you employed?
Dixon County Sheriff's Office.
And what is your position?
I am a detective.
And were you employed in that capacity on or about October 20th of 2024?
Yes, it was.
Did you have an occasion to respond out to an address on a shooting?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what the address was?
It was on South Bear Creek. I don't recall, 1159, something like that. I'm sorry.
Pull that
I'm sorry.
microphone base toward you, if you can pull it close to you as possible.
It was on South Bear Creek. I don't remember the mailbox number.
Okay. If you would have wrote in your warrant 1454 South Bear Creek Road, would that
Yes,
be
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that located here in Dixon County?
Yes, sir. It's in Dixon County.
And that was in response to a shooting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you get to the scene, what is your role?
I was on call that night and I was dispatched out there because patrol was out there because the Weavers had called in and reported the incident.
Okay.
I was out there to investigate.
And was there evidence, once you get on scene, was there evidence of a shooting?
There was, it was 20 spent shell casings I recovered from the driveway. Yes, sir.
Okay. In the driveway area, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've heard Doug Jr. testify this morning. Would his testimony be consistent with where these shell casings were
Yes,
found?
sir. They had a gate that was approximately 25 feet from the main road. Maybe another 20, 30 feet from that is where there was evidence of vehicle tire tracks in the gravel, and on each side of the vehicle is where the shell casings were picked up.
And were they all, were they located in one area?
Yeah, it appears that wherever they were fired from, the rifle and gun were in the same location because they were all discharged in the same spots from where they would have been standing.
Were there any indications in the driveway as far as a vehicle, were there any signs that a vehicle came to rest at that area?
There were, in the gravel, you could see where a vehicle had backed up and pulled forward. It was too big a gravel to get a tire track, a tread mark from it. But you could see that one had backed in there and then taken off, and it had spun just a little bit. So you could tell that it was consistent with what was reported.
Was there any damage on the property consisting with shots fired?
In the residence, we found, on the exterior of the residence, there was a bullet hole in the siding of the trailer going into the residence to where the bullet would have entered the residence. There was a hole in the wall, and then we found a lead bullet laying there on the side where it had hit, excuse me, the side of a gun safe that was there, and it had come to rest, its final rest, right there on the carpet and on the side of it.
And was that collected?
Yes, sir.
As far as potential victims, who was on scene when you arrived?
When I arrived on scene, there was Mr. Weaver, junior, senior, the wife, his other son, I can't recall his name. There were 7 people on scene when I was there.
Okay. And then, was anybody injured?
No, sir.
Okay.
Getting back to the bullets, there was another bullet that was located in the side of a tree, but we attempted to dig it out and couldn't recover it. But it was a fresh hole, and the bark was missing. So there was two bullets that we found up in and that was right in front of the house.
Okay, so that tree, would it have been between the house where these people were allegedly at and where the evidence of shell casings were at?
Where the vehicle was parked, their driveway went around, and the house was parallel to the road, and that tree was between where the vehicle was parked and where the residence is at.
Okay. How were you able to develop a suspect in this case?
That night, they advised that there was 2 people that was identified as, they didn't know who they were. The following Monday, when I went out there, the store had allowed them to see the video, and they were able to put a name on Mr. Ragsdale.
Okay. Now, were you able to view this video?
I was able to get it that following Monday. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you heard Mr. Weaver's testimony concerning the incident at, is it Tuffy's?
Tuffy's Market.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
That's how I know it. Tuffy's Market near the Bon Aqua-Dixon line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You were able to view that video?
We didn't see it that night. There was another employee, and he didn't know how to operate the camera, so the following Mondays when we were able to get it when the manager was present.
But you said the victim had seen it in between
Sometime over that weekend, yes, sir.
Okay. Were you able to collect it and preserve it?
Yes, sir. I do have a copy of it.
And were you able to eventually view it?
Yes, sir.
What did you see on the video?
On the video, it shows actually Mr. Ragsdale's in the store, Mr. Weaver's in the store. The video, they're not in there together making contact with each other. They're just both paying customers that go up to the register. It shows when Mr. Weaver goes outside and the altercation out in the parking lot. Mr. Weaver gets some paper towels and it appears he's consistent with the story that he's trying to get Mr. Ragsdale to clean the spit off the vehicle. And then there's Mr. Weaver swings his bat and hits the side view mirror on the truck, and then they all get in their vehicles and just drive off.
Okay. Were you able to end up, like, the whole spit and blood, like why is that even, like, why is that relevant to this case?
Several weeks prior to that incident taking place, Mr. Ragsdale accidentally shot himself. He shot himself in I believe in the lower chin. I think he lost a couple teeth and the bullet came out. So he still had gauze in his mouth and he was bleeding from that. That would have put the blood in the loogie that ended up on the driver's side door window.
Okay. Are you able to make out Mr. Ragsdale in the video?
When he's at the register, yes. And then the same clothing, you can see him out going towards the vehicle that he's sitting in.
Are you able to positively identify him to that video?
At the store, yes.
Do you see that person here in the courtroom?
There's Mr. Ragsdale right there in the red shirt.
Did you eventually make contact with Mr. Ragsdale?
I did not have contact with him until we took him into custody.
Right. Did he still have injuries from that gunshot wound? Or?
Yes, he still had gauze on his face.
Did he say anything?
Just that he didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay. All right. That's all I have, Judge.
Mr. McGowan, you may cross-examine.
Yes, sir, I am.
And his mouth at the time of the gas station incident, it was wired shut. It had.
I don't believe so.
You don't think so?
He's shaking his head no, so I'm going to agree with him no.
All right.
He was talking.
What's that?
He was talking when I talked to him on Monday, or whatever day it was. I spoke with him in person when we served the warrants.
That's how you remember it, right?
That's how
You remember him talking with no type of impediment at all?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And did he end up, this interview, was that after he got arrested?
Oh, yeah, it was while we were serving the warrant, yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
He was Mirandized, and then I asked him a couple questions, and it was...
But you don't remember him having any problem at the time?
Speaking?
Yeah, speaking.
No, sir.
Okay. And briefly, the video that you watched from the store, he never got out of the vehicle, did he?
Yes, well, he was in this, there was video of him in this, go ahead.
Let me rephrase that. That was kind of vague. After he exited the vehicle and got back into his truck, and Mr. Weaver approached his truck, he never got out of the vehicle at the gas station again.
After he was in the store and went back to the vehicle, no, sir, he did not get back out of the vehicle.
Other than the alleged spitting, the only person that on the video that seems to be
in the video
is the victim in this case.
In the video, he is seen walking over to the driver's side window of the van.
Okay.
And then he gets back into his vehicle. It's a distance where you cannot see the spit, but later it was recovered off the window.
So that spit, was that spit saved? I mean, there's a DNA swab.
Yes, sir.
Have y'all sent that off for testing?
It's been sent off. I'm sure they're done with it by now, maybe. I'll have to check on that.
And you said that there was a slug that was recovered from inside the trailer.
Yes, sir.
And that was saved in evidence.
Yes.
And that's been sent off for ballistic.
It's been sent off, but it was too damaged to get anything from it.
And was that the complete slug, or was that shrapnel from a?
It was the lead portion of the slug, and it was damaged to where they couldn't even tell what the caliber was.
And you said there was another gunshot strike inside the trailer or
Inside of a tree.
inside of a tree?
Yes, sir.
So we have one in a tree, a strike in a tree, and a
Yes.
strike in the trailer.
Yes.
Find any others?
No, sir.
And how many shell casings did you find?
20.
How many?
20.
You found 20 shell
Yes,
casings
sir.
at the scene.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And only 2 strikes.
Yes, sir.
And then it's your understanding that only one person was out in the front yard that could possibly identify people.
I was told that Mr. Weaver Jr. was on the front porch and Mr. Weaver Sr. was standing in the driveway. And I told you how the drive swoops around. You could see directly down to where the gate is from where his truck was parked. And he said he was at his tailgate of the truck when the incident began.
Well, Mr. Weaver Jr. never identified any specific individual, did he?
He identified the truck.
He identified the
as the
truck.
same truck from the.
Now, has Mr. Weaver Sr. identified any specific individual?
He identified Mr. Ragsdale.
Or was that in a photo lineup?
It was on a lineup with me. It was on where the gas station allowed them to go look at the video over the weekend. And that's where I think they took a picture with their cell phone.
So the victim went and conducted an investigation at the gas station, looked at the photo at the gas station, and then
Yeah,
you were informed that he knows
they allowed him to look at
who
the
it
video.
was and where they live.
Yes, somewhat in that order, yes, sir.
And did he tell you who it was that told him the identity of the?
It
Mr.
was,
Ragsdale?
it was a female that they ran with. I don't remember.
You know her name?
I'm sure it's in my report, maybe. I think it's on Mr. Weaver Sr.'s written statement.
Now, there's been some testimony, and you heard this testimony. I know this has been an issue. You heard testimony from Mr. Weaver Jr. that he doesn't know Cody Ragsdale. This is the first time, October 20th was the first time that he'd ever seen him, in his understanding. You hear him say that? Did you hear Mr. Weaver Jr. say that?
Yes, I heard him say it.
Okay. And has your investigation revealed that that might not necessarily be true?
There was, from what I understand, there was maybe some type of an altercation that somewhere in the past years ago. And that was just hearsay what I've heard.
But you didn't get that information from Mr. Weaver Jr. or Mr. Weaver Sr. or anyone from his family?
No, I think I got that from Cody.
From who?
Cody Ragsdale.
All right. And that altercation was what he described to you was an aggravated robbery. Something was taken from him at gunpoint, correct?
Yes. Well, not gunpoint. I think there was a taser involved.
Now, have you asked the Weavers about that?
Yes.
Okay. And they just denied that?
Yes.
And have they given you any kind of reasonable answer as to how it was that Mr. Ragsdale would know him and how he would know where he lived?
No, they're both their residents are probably within a mile of each other. They probably frequent at Tuffy's. I don't know.
Or Mr. Ragsdale doesn't live within a mile of the Weavers, does he?
By the way, crow flies probably pretty close to it.
How about now? Does he live there, close there now?
I don't know where Mr. Ragsdale lives now.
Okay. You know who he lives with?
I have no idea. He was living with his father at the time.
Haven't been keeping an eye on him?
No, sir.
Okay. Ballistics on the, there's been several guns recovered in all
Yes.
this. All right. Has the ballistics from any slug that was found inside the house or possibly in a tree, you just saw the strike in the tree, correct?
Yes.
So you only got one slug from the house?
Correct.
Partial slug?
Correct.
Has that matched in any gun that's been associated with?
The one that was recovered could not be identified. They don't actually use ballistics. They use the cartridges, the strike of how the hammer falls on the cartridges. And Bullets that were covered in the the two weapons I got, they're not matches.
Okay. They did not match.
No.
So any gun that has been associated with Mr. Ragsdale,
If you say any gun, the two guns that I was given, there's multiple guns and videos that I've never been allowed to see.
multiple guns and videos. So there's the video from the bowling alley, correct?
Yes.
Well, no, we don't have any video from the
No.
bowling alley.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're correct.
That wasn't a trick question.
You're correct, right.
All right. There's the statement that he had a gun at the video. There's a statement that he had a gun at the bowling alley, correct?
Right.
And then at some point, we don't know how long, later that night, he's pulled over on a traffic stop.
Correct.
And there's a gun recovered.
Correct.
Now, did any of the shell casings at the house match that gun?
Different caliber, from what I understand.
So no need to even test it, correct?
That wasn't my case, so
Okay. Well, that would help your case, would it not?
when I found out it was not the same caliber, there was no reason for me to go any farther with it.
And then, said the same guns in the video. There's no video from the trailer. They told you they didn't have any cameras, correct?
Right.
And so there was, I guess, at some point, he was arrested on the warrant, and there were some guns seized from his house.
Two guns were given me from his house, yes. His father gave me two.
Did he give those to you, or?
His father did, yes.
His father did, okay. Is that when he was being arrested, or?
Same day, yes,
Was that part of an investigation leading?
Same day.
Same day, okay. And those two guns, are you saying don't match?
The strikes from those two guns do not match the strikes on the evidence that was picked up from the driveway.
No further questions.
Redirect. Thank you. Detective, you may step down. State have any other proof? State has rested their case on the motion. Mr. McGowan, do you have any proof you wish to offer?
I was going to ask him about.
You want to put him on for that limited purpose, I'll allow it. All right. Bring your client around. Mr. Ragsdale, come forward, raise your right hand, let's place you under oath.
And I'll keep it very limited. Mr. Ragsdale, what is your physical address right now? Where do you live?
1159.
And who lives there with you at that residence?
My dad, and then my baby mama and kid.
Okay, and you said a kid. You're a kid?
Sir.
Does your dad have a significant other that lives there?
No.
Okay. And how old is your child?
She'll be 1 coming in March.
Okay. And do you work?
Yes, sir.
Do you provide support, financial support for help
Yes.
pay the bills, pay the
Yes.
groceries?
Yes.
Okay. And where do you work?
Sam George Construction, LLC.
How often do you work?
Well, now lately, the past couple months, we ain't been working that much. He's still trying to find jobs to do.
All right.
This company's only been open a couple of years.
But it's construction work, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that's been a little slow during the winter,
Yes, sir.
slower than what it is in the summer.
Yeah.
So were you busy this summer working?
Oh, yeah.
Is where you live now, is that within a mile of where these other folks live?
I assume so. South Bear Creek's right down the road.
Okay, so that's where you were living at the time this has happened.
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
Mr. Brooks, you have any questions on that issue? Thank you, Mr. Ragsdale. You may step down. Mr. McGowan, you have any other witnesses? State have any rebuttal proof? I'll hear you in argument.
Quickly, Judge, he was cited for simple possession. In September of 2024, he picks up these warrants for a shooting that had occurred, where there's compelling evidence that one did occur, and then he was one of the people that participated in said shooting. That happened in October 2024. And then the subsequent year, 2025, in February, there's another incident at the bowling alley where he is recklessly showing off firearms, placing people in fear. And that's corroborated by the subsequent contact with police where he just utters, is this about the incident at Thunder Alley? So he shows knowledge of what he's being stopped for right then and there. And then a subsequent firearm was located on his person. He has a trouble in abiding by the conditions of his release, and he is a danger to the community.
Mr. McGowan?
Your Honor, I know this is not a trial, and I'm not going to belabor and argue credibility of witnesses and or lack of any kind of factual evidence. I know my client is wrong because he was apparently had a firearm, which he wasn't charged with, by the way, and he wasn't charged with the DUI. He was charged with simple possession and paraphernalia, and that's the indictment before this court. But I think there's some problems with the evidence in this case. I think there's going to be a lot of investigation that needs to be done. My client is young, but he is a father. He needs to be working. He lives with his dad. It's concerning to me. I didn't realize that they lived that close to one another. But I think the bonds conditions can be amended to at least an extent to require maybe GPS monitoring or maybe even require him to live in a different place with his significant other and his small child. But he needs to be out working, and this bond condition or motion to revoke bond, I don't think was filed until October of 2025. The Thunder Alley happened in February of 2025, and then the original incident was in October 2024. And he's been to court. Can't tell you how many times he's been to court, but this is the first time that he's actually sat down in front of a judge, and we've actually taken proof. I think he understands. I think his record on bond reflects that he can abide by conditions of the bond without it being revoked and him sitting in jail. Thank you.
Well, I would disagree with that last statement, Mr. McGowan, respectfully, because you say that his record on bond indicates the condition. The original charge was a possession charge and misdemeanors, and then he's been charged with the shooting incident, which is the much more serious situation because that involves reckless endangerment, aggravated assault, and so forth. And those are felonies. And then more concerning is this one, the docket number 2025 CR 82 from the February incident at Thunder Alley, where he has now been charged with aggravated assault, 2 counts of that, as well as the violation of the order of protection and resisting arrest. So the violation of the order of protection is certainly an indication that he is not likely to continue to abide by the terms of any kind of bond condition. Tennessee Code annotated 4011 141 subsection D provides that if after the defendant is released upon a personal recognizance, an unsecured personal appearance bond or any other bond approved by the court, the defendant violates the condition of a release, is charged with an offense committed during the defendant's release, or engages in conduct which results in obstruction of the orderly and expeditious progress of the trial or other proceeding, then the court may revoke and terminate the defendant's bond in order that the defendant be held without bail pending the trial or without release during trial. And this is court's opinion based on the proof that has been offered to me. We're very lucky that there's not a homicide involved in this case. I suppose one thing I could say is that we're lucky that there's such bad shots. 20 shots that were fired and only 2 struck some sort of an object. Those shots may have been intended to be not strike an object, but the fact that one of those shots went through a trailer and lodged inside the dwelling place is of great concern to the court because it could have struck and killed a child, it could have struck and killed an individual. In any event, the more important thing is that the proof before the court today is that this Mr. Ragsdale didn't learn his lesson from being arrested on those charges and was aware of the fact that he had multiple aggravated assault charges pending and still went into Thunder Alley, an area that serves alcohol on a regular basis, and demonstrated that he carried a weapon on his person. And the only reason to show that weapon was to threaten someone. And as a result of that, it is this court's opinion that the evidence has established that under 4011-141, his bond should be revoked. So I'll revoke his bond and order that he be held pending. I agree that he's a father. He should be working. He should be doing all of those things. He shouldn't be doing what he's charged with. Shouldn't be carrying a weapon around to a place like that and showing other individuals. And the proof so far, at least by the standard I'm required to on this hearing, is that he did in fact engage in that conduct. So this court revokes his bond and orders that he be. Does he have a trial date yet? All right. Then I will let you set it with Judge Wallace. So. All right. So this next court date is February 11th. We're going to take some other matters out of order.
All right, Ashley, if you do me a favor and make a note of that February 11th date, I think this is worth following up on. So I made a list as we were going of all of the pertinent facts of this case. And just to summarize, and I've mentioned some of these already, but we had a bloody loogie, which kind of kicked this whole thing off. And it was bloody due to the fact that the defendant on a previous occasion had accidentally shot himself in the face. So that's cool. We had a reference to a sizable woman, specifically somebody saying, "I've never met a woman that big." We have firearms, a bowling alley, a mobile home, air humping, unpronounceable Spanish names, an accidental reference to Kool and the Gang with "getting down on it." Quote, "Was that spit saved?" was actually uttered from a lawyer. We had 20 recovered shell cases, but only 2 strikes. So as the judge pointed out at the end, the dude was a horrible shot. And the defendant lives with his dad, his baby mama, and 1-year-old child, thus playing into my comments the pre-show yesterday, I believe it was, about strong men, of which this person most certainly is not one.